Hey, everybody. Welcome to Flash Fried, the best. I hate this show so much, man.
What? Wait a minute now. Hold the fucking phone, bro. I've been getting shit for months saying I hate this show, and everybody's like, oh, yeah, we love watching Paul hate the show. Now you hate it, too?
I've hated it the whole time.
Oh.
But whatever.
Well, it's good. At least you're being honest now.
But you know what? I mean, look, I'm not saying that I always hate it. It's just that it's like I wake up on Wednesday. I'm like, let's do the. Oh, it's Wednesday. It's fucking Wednesday. Oh God.
I know, dude.
News. I mean, look, news. I'm a regular news reader, but to me, I read the news in like little chunks, like 15, 20 minutes a day. Maybe I'll like mostly just scan headlines, which you learn are pretty fucking deceitful when you actually delve into the stories. But, you know, headlines, oh, that happened, huh? You know?
I gotta be honest with you, teacher.
On this show, you gotta fucking dive into the news. What's that?
I gotta be totally honest with you, teacher. I fucking love the show. Stuck up about it. Hard as a rock.
I think Scotty's being like, it sounds like he's kind of kayfabing a little bit, but I think he's being truthful. I think this show does make Scotty hard. I think he loves watching the world collapse in some ways.
News junkie. I know you guys aren't. I read the news all the time. I mean, but I'll tell you what, honestly, even though I spend a lot of time, like probably at least a couple hours a day, just reading shit that's going on in the world and various articles and shit, that there's still shit that comes up on this show that I didn't hear about.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm a recovering news junkie. So I know the feel.
First at one point, I had to stop because it was just like, ugh. I don't know, it gets depressing after a while.
It's more than that. Dude, it had me living in a fucking dark black hole of fucking existential nihilism to the point where I didn't even want to get out of bed. I had to stop.
I don't think I ever took it to that level. I just kind of got to bed and like, man, things are kind of lame.
There's a lot of respects that's true, because it's like you read it and it's not like what you're hearing like about what's going on in the world. It's about like the spin you see. It's about how deceitful headlines are. It's about you read the article and dive deep, and like the headline actually is just, it's total bullshit. Like, so that's why when you sit like hear people like Trump, like it's fake news, you kind of go like, yeah. And sometimes, especially with CNN, like CNN's one of the worst offenders of it, honestly. Like I'll read a headline, I'm like, what? And I'll go down and it's like, oh, it's bullshit.
Yeah, that always sucks. I've pulled stories for this show before, being like, "Ooh, that headline's juicy," and then we'll get into the story, and I'll be like, "Oh man, this isn't the story I fucking want."
Yeah, they're in the fucking eyeball business. They're just trying to sell you ads. So whatever they have to say to get that, and sometimes the story itself can just do that, like massive explosion in Beirut, and you're like, "Oh my god!" Or other times it's all like, "You'll never believe what Kim K did," and it's all like, "She rocked this bikini," and you're just like, "What the fuck?"
I'll click on that. I actually do have a Kim K story coming up, but whatever.
Sick.
We're not going to start that. We're going to start with black officer who defended George Floyd fired from police department.
Just cause, right? It was a good reason.
A possibly misleading headline. What did he do? What was he fired for?
He was fired for
defending.
Oh, he was fired for defending.
Oh, okay.
Because the department has a policy against social media posting, I guess.
Well, I'd be willing to bet that policy against social media posting is only really enforced when that social media posting is critical of the police department.
Unfortunately, the Greensboro Police Department terminated him because they claim all that his social media videos is a violation of department policy. He did not post anything negative on his channel, was simply giving his side of the story as an officer. He and his family are currently seeking legal action. I think that's everything.
Yeah, good. I hope they actually get restitution, because here's an example of what looks like possibly, and I don't know what he had to say about it. It says that he defended George Floyd, but
I think we can maybe hear.
Yeah, can we hear?
Y'all know I'm Officer Williams, the one who did the viral George Floyd video, right?
So that's not the video itself. That's him actually.
Well, that's one of the videos.
So, being transparent with y'all, for the last 2 months, my job put me on administrative leave.
Oh, okay, it's not. So this is just his like.
Yeah, this is him kind of just more explaining the situation.
Sure.
Let's see if Do they have the actual video?
I would love to. Yeah. Well, he might have removed it when they were investigating him or something at their request or some shit. He said it was viral. What's his name?
I'm trying to figure this out. One officer in particular.
Does it give his name? Officer Williams.
Officer Williams. I don't know what his first name is.
All right, let me see if I can track anything down, and you guys can vamp.
Is his account Hollywood Unlocked? Is that his account? Maybe
I don't know. That sounds like it's probably the news is reporting.
It's a news site. Gotcha. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's the name of this news site.
Before so, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what his. I don't see any link to his original video anywhere on here. Unfortunately,
I think I've. Oh, this video has been removed by the uploader. Jesus. Okay, I found it. I found one copy of it. I'm still looking.
Okay.
I might be able to just. Okay, yeah, it's been removed from a lot of the places. Like I'm finding ghost links to it, like from Facebook, from YouTube, but every time I click, it says this has been removed.
That's probably why this article doesn't link to it.
Yeah,
it sounds like it's being scrubbed from everywhere possible,
which is weird because you'd think it would have been if it was viral. Which it looks like it was. There's enough references to it here that looks like it was a viral video. Let me try a few more things because I'm interested in this now. I want to hear what he said.
Yeah. What was he said?
What was so controversial?
Did he say like, the police department should be abolished or something? That's why they're. I mean, even if he did, I don't think there's anything he could have said unless it was like a direct threat to like I will kill people or do something crazy like that. He should be fired.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like we can't just sit and look for it all day. Like maybe somebody in the fucking chat will be able to find this and link it so that we can maybe cover it in the next Flash Friday. But I got to be honest with you, a cursory search is turning up nothing but dead links to this.
That's crazy.
So very weird.
Well, Paul, I pulled this one for you.
Okay.
Smiling more often, even faking it, tricks your brain into feeling happy. So
I've actually heard this before. This is a commonly taught tactic in a certain kind of psychological therapy. I'm trying to remember the name. It's cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, which shares a name with cock and ball torture, and probably shares about as much effectiveness at increasing your mental health as cock and ball torture does too.
I already feel better now.
This is horseshit. There might be a study of normally what we call like neurotypical people, and faking smiles might increase their happiness as they go through their day. But for people with major depressive symptoms or personality disorders and shit, this is just bullshit pop psychology nonsense.
Can a smile truly make everything better? A new study. Don't feel like smiling. Faking one can have positive impacts. Researchers say smiling triggers certain facial muscles, which can trick your brain into feeling more positive.
I'm already feeling better. Thanks, article.
Perception may be as important as reality. It's getting philosophical on us. Yeah, I basically just pulled this because I thought that Paul might have an interesting take on it. Here's another fun one for you.
I've been smiling through the whole article, and I still think that the world is doomed. I still think that my life is ultimately meaningless and that I've done more harm than good on this planet.
Small asteroid becomes closest ever seen passing Earth. NASA. An asteroid the size of an SUV. Passed 1,830 miles above Earth. The closest asteroid ever observed passing by our planet, NASA said Tuesday. If it had been on a collision course with Earth, the asteroid named 2020 QG would likely not have caused any damage, instead disintegrating in the atmosphere, creating a fireball in the sky or a meteor, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, said in a statement. The asteroid, which is about 10 to 20 feet long, passed above the southern Indian So the interesting thing about this asteroid, though, is that they literally didn't see it coming till it was here.
Well, its small size has a lot to do with that.
Yeah.
But it does show you how completely and utterly like exposed we are to this other existential threat that we don't really think about because we're piled up with self-created ones. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, dude, if an asteroid the size of an SUV can creep this close to Earth and we barely catch it, what are we going to do if there's one that's the size of, New York State that's on a trajectory? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And the size thing is a factor, but my understanding is like even a fucking asteroid big enough to fucking do some serious damage could potentially sneak right up on us.
Oh,
like, we're not like monitoring the entirety of the sky at all times.
No, I remember reading about this months and months ago, and I'm probably missing the quote, but it was some tiny percentage of the sky is actually monitored for these things by our telescopes and our sensory equipment and our satellites that are looking for them. Well, it's like some 8% of the sky is actually being looked at any given time on the planet Earth. So yeah, we're fucked if one of these, if something bigger than an SUV, something the size of a building or the size of a small city is on a trajectory with Earth, we're not going to see it until it's way too late for us to even try anything, is kind of the lesson of this story. Like we don't even really have a plan now. There are people working on these plans to attach another spaceship to it and then use its engine to push the, what I mean?
Yeah, we read about that a few weeks back or months back. The idea of like trying to change its course.
It's like an unmanned vehicle that lands on the asteroid and attaches itself to the asteroid and then fires its thrusters in hopes of slightly changing the trajectory of the asteroid so it skips off our atmosphere. But we're not even in a position where we could try that. Like if astronomers say asteroid the size of New York City heading for Earth, it's going to hit us. Like they won't even have time to get the shit together to launch something at it. You know what I mean?
Because let me tell you what's going to happen, dude. Aerosmith's going to write an amazing song. Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck are going to get on a fucking board, a NASA shuttle. Oh, wait, they don't have one. They'll build one really quick. Maybe the Russians will have one. And they're going to fucking drill into that thing and blow it up. We're going to be saved.
Maybe the Chinese will save us. like Chinese Will Smith to fucking go up there.
Chinese Will Smith, save us, please.
Not Will Smith. I meant Bruce Willis. But Will Smith works too.
I could stay away.
Be the one Westerner they put on there. Like, he's good.
Just to hear you breathing.
You're so fucked, man.
Watch you smile while you are sleeping. Liv Tyler's crying a single tear because her dad's not coming home. Yeah, it's not gonna go like that. We're all dead. We're all fucked.
No, dude, it's fucked. The way humanity's going, like even if they got the mission launched, dude, they approach the asteroid, they crash into it, they just blow up, and at the end of it,
yep.
Like, Alpha Team, are you there?
Yeah.
We're fucked.
The only thing that changed is that we've added the mass of a couple of astronaut corpses and a spaceship to the asteroid, and it hits that much harder.
Started like coming towards us, and the U.S. government's like, "Fuck, I guess we got to do it." Giant fucking hole opens up in the middle of Wyoming. A fucking laser comes out, blows the asteroid up.
Yeah,
the government's just like, forget we have that. It's like, what?
It's like, all right, we got to come clean.
We're Deep Impact. We're not Armageddon.
I know. Gun enthusiast. This is a positivity story, by the way. Gun enthusiast celebrates a man who shot himself in the balls as their king.
I mean, look, he's got a fucking hammerless, looks like 357 or fucking 38 special. And he's got a fucking semi-automatic point at his dick.
Explain to them, Scotty, what hammerless means for those not in the gun know. Right.
A lot of revolvers, like you clock, like it's like a double action. You have to pull the trigger and you got to the hammer. You know,
right, you got to pull the hammer back. This is a semi-automatic revolver. It'll fire as fast. The cylinder rotates every time the trigger is pulled without the hammer being cocked. So you can just pull the trigger as fast as you can and empty the chamber.
The little one he's got there is like a defense. Looks like a little defense. Like you keep that in a purse or somewhere, you can pull it out quick and kill.
It's just a 9mm or something that he's got over there. Like
I don't know what the caliber is. I'm just guessing, but that like those little ones are usually like 38 special. But
the revolver's a 38, and the other one looks like a 9 to me. But I don't know. I'm not a huge gun guy.
back in May, we wrote about a group of gun enthusiasts who love taking pictures of loaded weapons pointed at their dicks. Wait, what?
So this is.
I ain't pointing anything to my fucking dick, dude.
You guys haven't heard of this?
Fucking way where I point a fucking gun at my dick, like what? And then he has his fucking finger on the fucking trigger, dude. Like, what is this guy trying to fucking prove?
So this
take another.
Like I've heard about this actually. I read about this weeks ago when it started happening. It's not a huge movement. So don't think that there are like thousands of dudes around the planet doing this, but it became popular as a way to troll gun safety and anti-gun people who say that guns are not safe for people to have in their homes because they get discharged and people don't have good gun discipline and all that shit. People came up with this as a way to troll those people, because if you'll notice, not only are they pointing these guns at their cocks, but nobody is observing trigger discipline while doing so. They've got their fingers through the fucking trigger guard and across that trigger. And that's like the first thing they treat you at gun safety is you don't point that gun at anything that you don't intend to kill. Like that's gun safety number one. Never point a weapon at anything that you do not intend to kill. And so they're trolling with it. They're showing like, oh, guns are safe. Look at this. I'll put my finger through the trigger and put it right up against my nuts. And some fucking idiot shot himself. And the guys that were engaging this are like, our hero. That's right. You show him, buddy.
So a member of a Facebook group dedicated to taking pictures of loaded weapons pointed at their dicks finally shot himself in the balls. According to bloody pictures and video. So basically their movement immediately finally one of them just ended up shooting themselves in the fucking dick. Because what did you think was going to happen? And so according to bloody pictures and video he posted on social media, oh my God. And why would you post that? An Imperial County Sheriff's Office, which confirmed the incident to Motherboard. Rather than stepping back and starting to question whether the practice is wise, the group made him an administrator and are now celebrating him as their king. On August 11th, these are people with some weird shoot myself in the dick fetish, okay? This is some psychosexual bullshit.
Yeah, there's something else going on here for sure, but...
1911? Oh my God.
Look at the name of the fucking... group. Loaded guns pointed at Venus. That's the name of the group. That's a group. Loaded gun pointed at Venus.
Hey boys, I might have fucked up. The man who shot himself in the balls wrote above a picture of his naked leg and spattered blood on the carpet on his floor. A towel is stuffed between his legs and a printed out copy of the Constitution is crumpled on the edge of the photo.
Disturbing for this reason, but like these are the people that are like, gun safety. We're the most safe gun owners possible. It's like, and then you shot yourself in the balls. Like, you are a refutation of your own position so thoroughly. Like, why shouldn't average retards own guns? Here's why.
Yeah,
it gets funnier. The guy posted. Sorry,
their fucking dick.
The guy posted through the incident as he bled. God's caliber 45 went through my scrotum, mattress, box spring, and floor. He wrote. Originally, the man thought he just grazed his balls, but a subsequent hospital visit told a different story. In the last public post for the man, he's in a green hospital gown on a gurney. A pink mask is draped across his face, and he's pointing his finger at his crotch like a gun. Turns out it wasn't a graze. The round went right the fuck through me. He posted, what I thought were 2 graze wounds turned out to be an entrance and exit wound. That smiling article is right. I'm feeling happier.
My only regret with this story is that he didn't hit a nut on his way through. You know what I mean? Because it sounds like all he did was just puncture his scrotum, which
very fucking lucky.
Which means this dude will probably, after getting sewn up and shit, be able to reproduce still. Which is like, man, we were so close to taking him out of the gene pool. So fucking close. Oh man. Well, I hope that this guns pointed at Venus group keeps doing it. I hope they get more members, and I hope that people continue to shoot themselves in the balls. The less children that these fucking
our country is in fucking trouble, dude. When you have people that have a group dedicated to pointing guns at their dicks, dude. What's next? Point the gun at your head.
I mean,
Up the ante. Point the gun in your head. Put the gun in your mouth movement. Now put the gun in your mouth and pull the trigger movement. That's the one sweep of the nation right now.
This is about as close as we're going to get to a national sterilization policy on people with Liberty Eagle leg tats. Okay, so let's just let them do it.
You know what?
Shoot your dick off to own the limb.
This is a great idea, guys.
All the way a conservative could own me. There's only one way. If he fucking put a gun in his dick and blew his balls off, he did that, I'd have nothing to say.
If you've got an E pluribus unum Liberty Eagle leg tat, you need to join the loaded gun pointed at Venus group right away and start doing this. Please
get rid of the fucking the snake on the libertarian flag kind of bullshit, and just have a severed dick. Was shot off, and just
don't tread on me. And don't tread on me, but instead of a snake, it's a cock.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and balls.
Unsevered cock.
I love it. Keep doing it, guys. You're doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, man.
Bigger caliber guns. Bigger caliber guns. That's what I want to see next. I want to see a 50 cal. I want to see somebody get a Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle and point that shit at their fucking nuts and hook their toe through the fucking trigger guard.
How the fuck some?
Well, they need to go to the next. Fuck that. I want to see some motherfucker shoot himself in the fucking crotch with a cannon, dude. I just want to get an old.
I want to see that someone shoot themselves in the crotch with a railgun, dude.
There you go. Just take one of those old Civil War cannons, turn it upright, put a cannonball in it, straddle it, and drape your nuts into the hole, and then light that fuse behind you and fucking post that on social media. I'm ready. Man, show us how safe it all is.
Yeah. It's my right to bear arms. Marijuana vending machines now available in Colorado with more to follow.
Fuck yes, dude. This is a beautiful.
The people cry out for marijuana vending machines, dude.
Go to the conservative viewpoint. Oh, settle down now.
Stupid ass, straight edge, bastard ass, non-druggy conservatives. Fuck you. This is the future.
Weed lovers in Colorado can now get their favorite products more easily after the state welcomed the first marijuana vending machines. Located in Pueblo, the machines can accommodate up to 2,000 cannabis products each.
Boys, I think we need to move to Pueblo, Colorado. I think the show needs to pull up stakes and move to Pueblo, Colorado.
In an era where contactless purchasing is becoming more popular by the day, the Strawberry Fields Cannabis Dispensary in Colorado has launched 4 pot vending machines to ensure consumers get their products without seeing a human face.
Fuck. Yes. Thank you. No more bud tender bros. No more fucking bullshit. Just let me walk up and get my fucking pack of pre-rolls from a vending machine. Oh, yes.
I know, dude. That sounds fucking great. Especially if you're fucking rushed, dude. You don't want to deal with somebody. It's like, yeah, there's a little vending machine right there.
Oh my God, no more. What's up, man? This strain will make you feel loopy as hell, man. And look at the crystals. Like, I appreciate there being people out there that know about weed. And when I want that curated experience, I'll go get it. But if it's 3 a.m. and I'm out of weed, I could just go to a vending machine and get 6 pre-rolls and go home and stay high.
I think they have to be in the dispensary, Paul. So I think
they're inside.
Yeah, they're inside of it, I believe.
Oh, fuck this shit, man. We need 24/7. All right, it's still good though. I got to tell you guys, man, I do not think that Colorado would be the greatest place for the podcast to be situated in terms of the type of stuff the podcast needs, but every time I hear a story about Colorado and weed, it gets a check mark next to it, man. It's starting to like they've also decriminalized psilocybin in Colorado and are pushing towards legalization of it.
Like, I'm not sure about the rest of the state.
It's starting to check all my boxes. You know what I mean? Like, Colorado's starting to look dope.
Yeah, so apparently it's easy checkout. Wait, what does this say? Blah, blah, blah. They're experienced cannabis customers who don't necessarily need that one-on-one interaction with a bud tender, of course. They know what they want before they walk in. They're ready to go in and go out. By doing this, we're giving more time back to people who do need hand holding and want that education from a live person. With COVID and social distancing and contactless, definitely we have an appeal there as well.
When I'm living in a legal state, and you guys know this about me, this is my interaction with a bud tender. Do you guys have Blue Dream? If yes, purchase Blue Dream. If no, purchase whatever closest to Blue Dream there is. You know what I mean? If I could just have a fucking vending machine that's got Blue Dream in it or whatever the closest equivalent is, why would I ever need a bud tender? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of these dudes that's constantly like, I know enough about weed to know what I want. So if I want to get shatter, I can look at shatter and know it's good shatter. If I want to get an indica, I know a list of indicas that are really good, and I can look in this fucking machine and pick the one that I want. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily need all the time that curated experience. And I got to be honest with you guys, even at a good one, and we lived in Washington for a while, so you guys can either back me up or be contrary on this. Even at a really good place that had good, non-annoying bud tenders, I still found the interaction annoying like 90% of the time. Because I felt like
customer service shit in general. So,
I mean, most of it for me, like there's some of it that having a person there, I think is good, but very few. And the bud tender,
if I really need to know something, it's good to have someone who's knowledgeable. I don't fucking deny that. But usually I'm just like, usually my thing about, I don't have like as much of a go-to where I'm like Blue Dream, please, or some shit. But like, I'll just look at a menu and be like, this, and this, you know, or I'll ask them like, what's good? Give me that, you know?
Right. I mean,
it was good for me, honestly. It was when we had one dude that basically would just curate it for us. And it was just, the understanding was we'd walk in there, he'd get all the shit. He would check us out. He would give us a fucking discount, his medical discount, basically, and that was it. So we saved money, and it was great.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to like have the option of that curated experience. But for a dude like me that's been smoking since he's fucking 15 years old, I know what I want. Like I just don't need it. Like as long as the product that comes out of them is quality, who cares?
Yeah. Almost anything in a legal state's going to be quality anyway. So
yeah, that's true.
So. Bill Clinton mocked for lecturing Trump amid photo of him getting massage from Epstein accuser.
Yeah, no shit. Shut up, Bill.
Yeah.
It's time for you to disappear into your Dracula coffin.
TJ, give me a massage, TJ. I need one from you.
I need my massage.
Look,
President Bill Clinton. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Scotty.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
President Bill Clinton used his Democratic National Convention speech Tuesday to lecture President Trump on decorum, drawing charges of hypocrisy even before a photo of the former Democratic president with an Epstein accuser went viral. At a time like this, the Oval Office should be a command center, Mr. Clinton said in his remote speech. Instead, it's a storm center. There's only chaos. Just one thing never changes, his determination to deny responsibility and shift the blame. The buck never stops there. Leading off the mockery was late show host Stephen Colbert, who alluded to Mr. Clinton's Oval Office affair with then White House intern Monica Lewinsky. All right, that's true, and that's a good point, Mr. Colbert replied, but I don't think Bill Clinton gets to lecture anyone about what should be happening in the Oval Office.
I want to say this again, TJ. Did not have sexual relations with that woman.
See, I mean, I can understand the Epstein victim thing, but like playing the Lewinsky card is pretty lame. I mean,
that's bullshit.
You got his dick sucked in the White House office. That's not the same as the kind of shit Trump is doing in there.
No, it isn't.
Lied about it. I mean, if Bill Clinton was like, "You got me,"
yes. You got to take into account this is a late night host joke, so it's not necessarily meant.
They still love the Lewinsky jokes, even all these years.
Right.
Bill Clinton did more than that. I mean, Bill Clinton sued to try to make it so he couldn't even be challenged in court. Like, see, there's a lawsuit, and he went all the way to the Supreme Court saying, "Hey, I shouldn't even be. I'm the president." So he kind of did something
that's true
with Trump. So there is a fair amount of hypocrisy for what Bill Clinton has treated Trump. Now, doesn't that
like the Lewinsky thing is not like the fucking
the Epstein shit is the real stickler here. The fact that the fact that he's lecturing on decorum and sexual impropriety and this, that, and the other thing, and he's the president that was on Epstein's jet and Epstein had paintings of in his house and shit. Like, if Jeffrey Epstein had a painting of you in his house on Pedo Island, there's a good chance you fucked an underage girl. You know what I mean? So he needs to shut the fuck up and disappear back into his fucking Dracula coffin, cross his arms over, and go into torpor for the next 2 centuries until he can come back out and nobody remembers who he is and make another run at it. Because the UK
Daily Mail ran a photo showing Mr. Clinton receiving a neck massage from Shantae Davies, then 22, who was accused the late Jeffrey Epstein of raping her. Mr. Clinton has come under fire for his friendship with Epstein, a convicted sex offender.
Can I see the photo? Or is it
There it is.
Down here.
Cool.
This is a photo of one of Epstein's like trafficking victims or whatever the fuck, or at least a rape victim.
And an alleged victim of Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking, to be fair. But this is one of the women that has come out and said that Epstein found her at a very young age and basically pimped her out to powerful people.
Now, this woman does not say that Clinton did anything sexual with her. I feel like that should be pointed out. But here he is getting a fucking massage from this Epstein victim with Epstein. Maybe not present in this very room at the time, but like present on this trip.
Well,
it was a trip that Bill Clinton took with
Epstein. Is this the one that went to Africa?
I forget what this is. Okay, they were you never before seen photographs of Bill Clinton while he grins with pleasure as he enjoys an intimate neck massage with a young.
Okay. Number one, the neck massage he's receiving is no more intimate than any other neck massage. This is how a masseuse is going to give you a neck massage. Number one. Number two, Bill Clinton. If Bill Clinton had fucked this chick when she was 14 and had been fucking her since she was 14, you can tell this is not a secret photo. There's no way this picture gets taken. He allowed this picture to get taken because what it shows is pretty fucking innocuous. It's a girl dressed in what look like masseuse garments, giving him a totally non-sexual massage as he sits there. The implication here is that this is one of the women that has accused Jeffrey Epstein of trafficking her at a young age to powerful people. And it's just another connection of Bill Clinton to this dude. Like how many connections can you make to a person, and how many little pieces of circumstantial evidence can connect a person so closely to a person whose entire existence was based around trafficking young girls to powerful people before you raise an eyebrow? There's a painting of him in the fucking house. We know for a fact he's been to Pedo Island.
Wearing a dress too.
Yeah. That we know for a fact he's been to Pedophile Island numerous times. He's ridden on fucking Jeffrey Epstein's planes numerous times. Like, where does it, like, at what point do we call a spade a spade? Of course, there's not going to be a completely fucking voluntary photo of Bill Clinton smiling at the camera and giving finger guns while he gets blown by a 13-year-old or some shit. You know what I mean? If that exists, it's on an Epstein server somewhere in the hands of the FBI, but I don't know. It's just like, and Clinton's not the only one implicated in this. Trump knew this fucking guy forever. Like all these politicians, all these old ass fucking politicians, these names that have come out. These are like American royalty. Clinton.
Yeah, to go beyond even just this like scandal angle, like just even if there was none of this going on and none of this had come to fucking light or anything, I still think Bill Clinton has no business playing as large a role in this fucking convention as
he's accused of rape, not once, not twice, but by a gaggle of women.
Right. But even just politically, like, it's like his time is like so done, like, let's move on. He
exists for people that are about 10, 15 years older than you and I, who really thought Bill Clinton was the bee's knees. And that's all they see when they see him is they get Bill out there and they think of
things was good.
They think of good old energized left-leaning Bill Clinton, who beat George H.W. Bush midstream after a disastrous invasion of Iraq. And that's all they see. They don't actually see the damage he did as a president. They don't see his impropriety. They don't see his connection to the very corporations that are bleeding this country dry. They don't see his status as a fucking complete and utter center-right corporatist fucking politician that's been foisted on the left over and over and over again. To them, it's going to be the same way with Obama for fucking 3-4 decades, assuming we all survive that long. They're going to be people that see Barack Obama come out and go like, oh man, things were so much better during him. He advanced everything. He built on what George H.W. Bush did and advanced everything. He built on the military campaign. He built on the drone strikes. He built on the corporate giveaways to corporations.
You know what, Paul? At least he closed Gitmo, though. We all can say and all agree right now he did that. Oh, wait.
No, he didn't. Oh, well, but he did stop. He did.
Oh, my face.
He did stop extraordinary rendition though, and CIA black sites where they take people to disappear them forever. Though he did stop. Oh wait, no, he didn't.
Oh shit.
He actually ramped up their use.
Yeah, because remember, and actually they used to do that in Syria. Remember that country that we all hated? Oh, they're bad.
Syria. Oh, they did. They do it everywhere. They did it in Syria. They did it in Turkey. They have these sites in Europe, all over the fucking globe.
I mean, look, the authoritarian governments of the world just realize how powerless anyone is to really stop them. Look, Saudi Arabia, they killed someone in their embassy. Oh, the guy's dead.
Oh well, nothing we can do.
Hey, you know how much oil we have? Do you know who we are? Fuck him, he's dead. Oh, or, I mean, of course, I'm not going to say that. Oh, well, we don't know what happened to him. He left here. We escorted him out, and he was fine. Give me a fucking break.
He looked totally different and changed his shoes and stuff when he was in there, but we escorted him right on out. Look.
Yeah. Have a nice life. Never see your family again.
Even if every sexual...
Somewhere outside of the embassy. We don't even know.
Even if every allegation of sexual impropriety or assault against Clinton is completely fabricated, he's still a piece of shit who broke his dick off in the ass of this fucking country, and nobody should look at him and see the good times.
And Paul, remember the only scandals they went after him were like a real estate deal gone bad. Wasn't any of the other shit he did. It wasn't the fact that like he literally had a bunch of conservatives in his administration. What's that guy like? What? Oh, I think it's Secretary of Treasury. I forget the guy's name. And they fucking deregulated.
Alan Greenspan.
About Greenspan, right?
Not Greenspan. He was a chairman of the Federal Reserve.
He was pretty fucking. I mean, he was like a Ayn Rand butt boy.
No, I think it's. Let me look his fucking name up because I'll just. I think I don't want to say the wrong fucking person, but there's a fucking guy that. He's been in a ton of administrations. He was in the Obama administration too. I think this is his name, but let me make sure.
Is it Mnuchin?
I think it is. Yeah, it's Lawrence Summers. This guy Galen told me about actually.
Larry Summers.
Yeah.
Larry Summers was like he's a huge neocon, like a gigantic fucking neocon. He was the dean of Harvard.
Yes.
Larry Summers is a piece of shit. Like a total and complete warmongering piece of shit. Served as Bill Clinton's... and
helped to make sure that derivatives were deregulated, which then led in 2008 to a massive recession. Oh, man. But thanks, Bill Clinton. You did a good job. That's why a lot of people said, hey, Bill Clinton was responsible a lot. No, it wasn't just Bush for this fucking housing crash. Because look, Bush had his fair share of shit he did too. But Clinton's the one that really kicked things off or was like, oh, wait. We can make more money by prepackaging this real estate debt. Hope it doesn't go bad.
Oops, it did.
We're still facing another bubble, not in the real estate market. Well, we will face that soon enough, anyways. But with collateralized debt obligations.
Oh my God, there's so many. Like right now, it's just a matter of which bubble's going to pop first. I mean,
and guess who's going to be left holding the bag?
The fucking rich elites, right? They're going to take responsibility for it.
Good one. That's going to be the people.
House Democrats will vote on giving Postal Service a $25 billion boost.
Boo. Fraud. Boo.
The House is set to return on Saturday to vote on legislation related to the U.S. Postal Service. House Democratic leaders announced Monday providing the financially strapped agency with $25 billion in funding despite White House objections. The bill is still being finalized, top Democrats told members during a caucus call, but it will incorporate a version of Rep. Carolyn Maloney's Delivering for America Act, which would prohibit recent USPS operational changes the Trump administration has made that have slowed mail service around the country. The bill will also include Democrats' initial ask for $25 billion in funding for the Postal Service. Three sources familiar with the matter told CNN. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi told members the final bill is likely to come out of committee on Tuesday.
What about a coronavirus release package? What about a UBI while half the country or more is shut down? Like, I'm not saying this Postal Service shit isn't fucking important, but there are people being kicked out of their fucking homes right now, today, as we speak, that have nowhere to go. And the first of next month, that shit is going to fucking get worse. It's going to compound every fucking month. Like, I'm all for this. Make sure that the Postal Service is funded enough so that people can mail in their ballots safely and shit. But don't you think that you ought to be like the fact that you guys went on vacation? You went on break with no answer for the people who were going to be hitting the streets. No extension to the federal moratorium on evictions. No fucking UBI, temporary or otherwise, for coronavirus relief. No medical option for people who are uninsured and come down with this shit. The fact that you were going on fucking vacation with all of that shit on the table during a pandemic where we've got over 5 million cases and 170,000 dead is fucking ludicrous. Fuck these people.
You know why? Because think about this. The Republican side, well, and this is what Democrats will say. Well, look, Nancy Pelosi said we wanted a $3 trillion package. The Republicans wanted a $1 trillion. We said, let's compromise. Let's meet in the middle. Let's do $2 trillion. But honestly, the Democrats don't see any incentive to compromise because if the country just gets worse, that plays in their hand. Oh, the narrative. Look how Trump's ruined everything.
Right.
The post office thing is just an acknowledgement of, hey, more liberals are going to want to vote by mail.
I mean, it's the only reason is they're not fucking fighting for the post office out of like some great.
No.
Wow, the post office.
It's a political move.
Like, they know, like, hey,
you want to know why? Because they want Republicans on record having to vote against the post office, which is one of the most popular federal programs that exist. And it's quasi-federal because I mean that's why it's a corporation in a sense, but it's quasi.
Right, it's subsidized by the federal government and always has been.
Well, and it's regulated by the federal government too. They can't raise rates without congressional approval, I believe. But the thing is they just want Republicans on record having to say, if they have a bill that just says, hey, let's give money to the post office, they want those Republicans to go, no.
And by the way, this $25 billion, and once again, I'm not trying to undercut it. It would probably help and it would probably ensure that more people could get their ballots in without bullshit. But this $25 billion that they're proposing floating to the post office is not going to make it solvent. This is a can-kicking move. The post office has been dying since 2007, just before Barack Obama was elected, and got infinitely worse underneath Barack Obama's 8 years as president, and has been underwater since. So this $25 billion is going to raise that bar maybe up to close to the median again, but it's not going to change any functionality that led to the slow rot of the fucking Postal Service. The Postal Service needs to be federalized. This quasi-corporation that has to remain solvent on its own and has to fund itself with... You go on the post... Have you guys ever been to the post office website? Like
yes.
to do something other than check a package?
Yes.
You know they have this insane long list of fucking merch that they sell with post office logos and shit on it that I can't imagine a single fucking human being in the history of history. They're desperate. The entire post office, the entire United States Postal Service needs to be federalized and funded. And this dream of it funding itself with the sale of fucking coffee mugs with the USPS logo and stamps needs to be ended. Period. So this is a can-kicking move at best, and it's ignoring 15 other wildfire issues that are currently burning out of control in this fucking country.
TJ, I don't know if you pulled this. Did you pull anything about the Germany's UBI thing?
No.
Okay. Oh. Well, that's something that I've heard. I don't know what they... I was just kind of like browsing through, but that's something I thought that was interesting. Germany is actually going to test out a UBI, and I don't know how large it is on what basis, but I think it's supposed to be like $1,400 a month to people. So it's like...
I didn't see a story about it, but I can pull one real quick if you want.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So we're talking about that, and it's like, you know, the post office, and I completely agree with you, Paul. You've got to fucking federally fund this thing. It doesn't need to be this weird fucking sort of like shambling zombie thing. Like, look, so many people rely on this shit for mail. People in rural areas, people who need life-saving medication. There's too many fucking people that need this to fucking have this thing be in limbo. This needs to be a fucking thing like any other part of the government's run. It has a budget. It's funded. People get their mail. People get the shit they need. Everyone fucking benefits from it. It doesn't make any sense to not have it. The only people the only companies that don't want this are FedEx and UPS and these other private fucking delivery services. That's it. That's the only people that are probably sitting back going, no, let it fail, please.
So
all those things for the same cost. So we're going to end up fucking spending more money. It doesn't make sense.
So here's the story you wanted. Germany got a universal basic income and nobody noticed. Paradigm shift as Supreme Court caps job center penalties, effectively removing the legal requirements to seek employment. Germany just got itself a universal basic income through the back door. We'll never.
Ooh, through the back door. Yeah.
one of those kind of deals.
I like it.
We'll never know if any of the judges at the German Supreme Court in Karlsruhe were aware of the enormous consequences of the recent verdict. Probably not, because what they ruled on, at least officially, was not the question. Should there be a universal basic income? Yes or no? What they had to decide on the fateful rainy November Wednesday was simply the legality of an administrative regulation concerning possible penalties Hearts for benefit recipients can incur for failing to comply with their legal obligations to do everything within reason to end or reduce their dependency. So basically, this is kind of like Germany's unemployment, I guess.
Right. So from
basically, like, they've basically ruled that, like, you no longer have a benefit. You no longer have like an impetus to be like out there looking for work.
So we have that here, and it's actually pretty common that if you're on a job seeking benefit of any kind, that there is a legal requirement for you to be actively seeking work. And when I used to run Starbucks, I used to get these people all the time that would come in, and you could tell they didn't really want the job. You know what I mean? They would fill out this hastily thing, and they'd say, "Hey, can you sign this thing saying that I applied here?" And that was basically so that they could show that they had applied for X amount of jobs. Right. And this is basically Germany saying you don't have to do that. You don't have, there's no longer a requirement for you to run around and be actively seeking work. You're going to get this unemployment benefit no matter what, which basically is a UBI. It means that if you lose your job, you're fine, or not fine, but you have a safety net there.
Go back up, you kind of glossed over the thing, how much people are going to get.
Okay.
So basically, they're going to give people around 1,120 euros a month. Food allowance, you're going to get 300 euros. The standard allowance for food and other daily necessities is set at 424 euros, which, assuming a 30% deduction, will be reduced to around 300 euros per month. A young, healthy person will find it possible with some careful planning to fill their plate with that amount. Housing costs 500 euros. Yeah. So, I mean, like, this isn't an amount of money where it's like, hey, this is going to make you're living high on the fucking hog, but it's so you can survive.
It's a safety net. It makes sure that if you lose your job and you can't find another one, that you're not living on the street or in a shelter or in a lean-to somewhere underneath a bridge, like happens here so often, and like is happening, by the way, right now. It is not perfect, but you can tell, like, this gives you an idea of how complex a UBI has to be. Because as you can see, if you go back up, TJ, these numbers are going to vary based on where a person resides. So you need 700 euros a month to pay a basic housing cost in Munich. And you need 300 euros a month to pay it in rural areas, which means that, people are going to get different amounts of money based on their need, which is a smart way to keep costs low on something like this as a taxpayer burden. You know what I mean? Like, giving everybody one lump sum of money is a nice idea, but that money doesn't go as far in New York City as it does in rural Oklahoma. So this idea that a UBI should be a straight benefit of X amount of dollars a month, probably not the best way to do it. It should probably be a case-by-case basis. You're given a certain amount of money based on the region that you're in, based on what the cost of living in your area and the cost of food is. So it's an interesting thing that, basically slipped under the radar.
So this is, my question is, do they, people with jobs can't get this though, right?
No. I mean, it's an unemployment benefit.
Right. So it's not really universal.
But people with jobs in Germany don't need this. Yeah. It's universal in the fact that if you don't have a job that can support you, you get it. So, I mean, that's what we need here in the United States, too. We don't necessarily need to send money to people who are gainfully employed enough to make their bills and are okay. And there are people in this country that fit that criteria. Like, there are people in this country that do not need a UBI. So why should they receive one? Until they need it. If they lose their job, lose their employability, they get it.
You're talking about universal access. Right. Not necessarily everyone gets it no matter what. Like, hey, I'm a millionaire, give me fucking $1,500 a month. Right. It's like, if you lose everything, you're not just going, oh, should I get nothing?
Right. If you need it, it's there. I like it.
Left outraged by AOC's bit roll at Democratic convention. The fact she was given only 60 seconds to speak was taken as a slight by progressives.
Before we get into this, did you catch I think it was NBC News smear?
Yeah, I did. I saw that. She actually tweeted against it as well.
So
I didn't catch it.
Just so we don't have to look it up and shit, as I understand it, she was there to abide by a specific rule of the DNC,
right?
To present the nomination, to read the roll call of nominations for the presidential candidacy.
Yes.
And she seconded the nomination of Bernie Sanders from Vermont,
right,
as a part of her role.
Yeah, which is an official role.
Which she had to do. She went out there to do that. If it wasn't her, it would have been Nancy Pelosi doing it or somebody else, right? Right.
Yeah.
So somebody was going to say these words, and it just happened to be AOC that they chose to do it, which I think was a good choice since she was part of his movement. Mm-hmm. So not only that, but they smeared by saying she also gave the shortest speech of the night, which was completely untrue. Her speech was exactly on par with most of the speeches that were given that night, and just published it in the middle of the night as a news story. Well, she happened to be up and fucking immediately called them on it and was like, hey, this is bullshit. Like, you guys don't understand the fundamental rules of the DNC. This is what I was brought there to do. And the speech that I gave was pretty much the same as the speech the person before me gave. And the piece of, you know what I mean? She like called them out on it. And then they posted this hasty retraction. It's like,
they were just trying to stir the drama pot.
I mean, no, they were trying to put a stain on what is ostensibly one of the most progressive politicians in America by making it look like she saltily worked against Joe Biden or something. She endorsed Joe Biden months ago. So this insinuation that she never endorsed Joe Biden is just total fucking bullshit. But anyway,
they don't care. They're just trying to sow the seeds of discord. You know, this is the fact of the matter is that, you know, like when Barack Obama, the way he got his political fucking career started off was he gave a keynote speech at the DNC when he was just like the up and coming young fucking senator. Right. You know,
he basically did it for John Kerry.
Yeah. And you know, he wasn't a national figure at that point, but they could tell he was a rising star. And so they gave him that fucking spotlight. You know, AOC, much bigger star in the party at this point than Barack Obama was at the time that he got to deliver that keynote speech. You know, you look at polls, there was a poll out a while back there was just a poll of Democrats and like asking like who they wanted to see speak at this thing. And I think she was the number one person that people wanted to see speak. Bill Clinton was way down there. He was like, you know, there was still, I mean, I guess a significant chunk still wanted to hear their fucking traditional Bill Clinton speech. They've heard fucking every DNC for the last fucking 2 decades or whatever.
Yeah, but
more people wanted to hear the AOC speech. So the fact that she only got 60 seconds is kind of a fucking ridiculous thing. Because even the mainstream wing of the party is interested in what AOC is saying and doing.
Step aside, AOC.
You don't have to be on the left, quote unquote, to fucking want to hear from AOC.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you that we're in a battle for the soul of this nation. The soul of this nation is on the line, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to tell you all about it. No, shut up, AOC. No. People want to hear me.
No, Monk.
1,000 points of light, y'all.
In a cigarette.
Clint Monk, dude.
Clinton. someone Photoshop skills make it happen. Clint Monk. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's really no point in covering it. Yeah, she spoke for fucking a minute. I mean, like, it's just like they couldn't fucking spare more than that for like a rising star. Like, this is just like better than anything else indicates that the people with a stranglehold in this party do not want this party to move in.
She doesn't represent what the people that control this party want, the direction they want this party to fucking move in. Of course, they're going to fucking give her some procedural role and limit her from giving an actual speech.
Right.
But you know what? Like, the thing is, nobody's watching this DNC shit anyway. I'm sorry. Have you tuned into any of it?
Yeah, I tuned in a couple times.
I've tuned in a couple of times too. And let me give you my review.
You know what? Actually, it's funny.
I thought the traditional conventions that actually happened, at a big convention center kind of thing were pretty dull. But at
least at the very least, those had a fucking hint of energy about them. This is just like, who's up next? Oh yeah.
About as interesting as a YouTube rewind.
I'll tell you what ended up happening, TJ. Me and Taylor, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch the Bernie speech from it. That was like a clip online. And then other things, we were in our bedroom. Other things ended up happening. And then, like, the end of it, I was like, that was the best speech Bernie ever gave. Let me tell you.
Damn, God, Scotty fucks.
I didn't know Bernie's speeches were like aphrodisiacs.
Scotty fucks, dude.
Well, I don't think I wasn't really focused on the speech, to be honest.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders pops up. He's like, listen, I'm Bernie Sanders.
Like, all right, babe, let's get it on.
You play Bernie's speech backwards. It's like, give him head. It's like whatever the fuck. Good old.
What I can tell you guys is the DNC shit is on point. Now, don't take my word for it because I didn't barely half listen and I got laid when it was going on. But if you do that, you'll enjoy the DNC fucking speech or whatever the fucking shit's going on at the convention. If you're not doing that, I don't recommend it.
This country desperately needs to fuck the tight pussy of reform.
Poor AOC, dude. Can't catch a fucking break.
She's doing just fine. Like, honestly, their attempts to scuttle her just make her more important. Like, they just put her more in the spotlight. It shows that she's feared on both sides of the aisles and makes her more popular with the people that like her. Like, they're just helping her. They're making her more politically viable. The more that they obstruct her, the more that they stand in her way, the more she shows that she's got the fucking political acumen to rise above it and just make a tweet that dismantles the whole fucking bullshit narrative. She's doing fine.
I'm glad for that, dude.
I'm not even talking about. I don't want them to embrace her for her sake. I want them to embrace her for their sake. But they're obviously too stupid to unfuck themselves. So
yeah, well, agreed. We agree on that point.
So final. I think this is the final story I pulled on this shit. And by the way, this is probably the final pleb story as well. And look, I'm gonna try to be nicer to the plebs.
Why?
Some of them are getting upset.
So that's the point. They should be upset.
I want to try the soft approach. I'll try the gentle approach, guys.
The velvet glove.
Yeah. Listen, guys. Doesn't it suck you can't see the next half of the show? Darn. Hey, you know what you got to do? Just join the Patreon. It's reasonably priced, man.
It sure is.
$5 a month. You could see the other half of all these shows.
And you would be hard pressed
why are you settling for a world where you only get half of the flash fried goodness that you deserve? You're better than this. Become a patron. All right. Anyway, this is your last story. Jason Riley. I don't care who that is. Which version of Kamala Harris will we see speak on night 3 of the DNC? I don't really care about this story. I just want us to answer the question for ourselves. What Kamala Harris are you going to see?
So we've seen a number of Kamalas early on in the debate season. I remember Kamala Harris actually being a pretty kind of like a firebrand almost. Like she was out there scoring points, having moments, ooh moments during the debate. Yeah, throwing some sick burns. She had a lot of energy about her. And I'd say by the time we were halfway through this slog of debate season, we saw a new Kamala Harris who was listless, energyless, rudderless, rambling, advocating for silly things like trying to get Trump blocked off of Twitter at a time when the country was burning. And we saw kind of a slow decline. So we know that there's a gradient between high energy, totally engaged Kamala and completely checked out. I'm not going to win anyway. Who fucking cares, Kamala? So which one are we going to get? I think at first we're going to get that high energy Kamala. I think if the polls tighten in any significant way, which it's already, by the way, showing that they are, a lot of polls are starting to tighten between Biden and Trump. I've even seen quite a few within the margin of error. So it's a horse race at this point. Pretty much neck and neck, and we got 3 months to go. And I think that if that trend continues, Kamala's energy is going to slowly but surely bleed from her. And by the time we're about 2 weeks out from the election, we're going to be getting this listless, fucking lecturing, boring Kamala Harris. And that's my take on it. At least that's what I think we're gonna get
right now. Looking at Real Clear Politics, we're having Biden is up about 7 points. It ranges from 4 points with CNN. Rasmussen, which is obviously more like a conservative one, has Biden up 4. Yeah,
what's the margin of error on those polls? Plus or minus 4?
Well, I'm not sure what the margin of error. Oh, margin of error on some of them. Let's see. Rasmussen is 2.
Yeah.
CNN 4. Well, that's within the margin of error. Now, a lot of people are trying to argue the CNN poll that shows them close is more of an outlier.
Sure.
I don't necessarily believe.
I mean, who knows? It could be a fucking backlash to picking her as his running mate. Because
look, here's the thing too. The LA Times
out after that.
LA Times in the 2016 had them Hillary and Trump even, and that was about the closest call that anyone made.
And that was an outlier poll. That was considered to be a shitty poll. I remember the left attacked it and said, like, why does the LA Times want to help Trump? This is a bullshit poll, skewed numbers, and they ended up being right.
I'm not dismissing anything at this point, nor should I think anyone else. No. Look who we have in office right now.
The concerning thing, if you're going for fucking if you're hoping the Democrats win the night, if you're looking at the CNN poll, the more disconcerting thing than the small gap between them in national polling is how tight they have those battleground states, because they have those battleground states super tight in that CNN poll.
And obviously this is barring some huge event between now and then. I think more than likely Biden will win, but I think it'll be way fucking closer than people are thinking. I think a lot of people are thinking like it's going to be like Biden's going to come in and fucking it's going to be like a Reagan. It's going to be this blue wave. Like the Democrats are honestly in a better position for the Senate than they are on the national level. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a tight race either way. Anyone that thinks this is going to be just like a blowout. I mean, look, if it was popular vote, sure, it probably would be a blowout in that respect. But as far as the way the Electoral College is set up, I mean, like, there's a lot of battleground states like Arizona. How is that going to go? We don't know. I mean, Florida, we don't know what's going to happen with Florida. Ohio used to be a purple state, but it's leaning a lot more red. So I think that's kind of taken out of as a battleground. Michigan, is Trump going to be able to win Michigan again? Is he going to be able to convince enough people? A lot of people are saying, there's no way Trump can't win Michigan. We don't know.
I'm really expecting Kamala Harris's speech to just be almost entirely an attack against Trump.
Well, yeah, I mean, because that's what Biden's speech is going to be too.
She's going to be in attack dog mode.
It's really the question is Trump going to die the death of 1,000 cuts? Is that's what I mean? I think that's obviously the strategy at this point. It's been the DNC and the Democratic strategy since day one. It's just, can Trump fucking suffer? I mean,
that was their strategy back in fucking the last election cycle, and it's the same fucking strategy this time. Her speech is going to be all about how dangerous Trump is. Fucking so is Biden's. Like, let's not get it twisted here. That's the Democratic Party platform. Trump bad, we good.
I think Biden is going to be a little bit more positive with his spin. I think he's going to be a little bit more like, she's going to paint the picture of like the nightmare, and then Biden's going to fucking come up and be like, look, I can restore order and normalcy and all this other stuff.
But it's not. That's the problem. There's no real vision for this fucking.
No, the vision is basically like, let's go back to where we was before Trump.
Let's go back pre-COVID. That's it. It's not let's make America like greater in a true sense of like.
We call him Blue MAGA, dude. It's just Blue MAGA. Make America great in Blue edition.
Oh yeah, it's like when Bernie made his speech. One of the things I do remember was like, we will lower the age of Medicare eligibility to 60, and it was like, woo! 60. I'm glad millions of more people we covered. I'm never going to argue against less people having health care. I'll never do it. But the thing is, that's not what we fucking need. We need fucking healthcare from everyone from the time they're born until the time they die, because everyone at some point is going to use the healthcare system. Yes, I'd prefer people to be healthy. I'm sure everyone prefers people are going to be healthy, but it's not fucking reality. We're all ticking time bombs here, people.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this pleb half, but I got to say, plebs, get out. Get out. It breaks my heart to say it, but plebs, get out.
Look, it's getting late, plebs. I'm real tired.
I beg. I'm asking you nice. Usually I'm mean about it, but I'm trying a softer approach, because you're not hurting me by not becoming a patron. You're hurting yourself by not becoming a patron. Let's just be honest.
You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
All right. So that being said, let's move on.
Setting that aside.
Calls for nationwide sick out as Arizona school district cancels reopening.
I mean, interrupt you, TJ, but plebs are gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Fuck those fucking plebs. Worthless pieces of shit. I never liked them anyways.
Well, the great thing is that by the time they get here and see that you said that, they won't be plebs anymore. So it's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Calls for nationwide sick out as Arizona schools cancel, they cancel the reopening.
Yeah.
An Arizona public school district was forced to cancel its plans to reopen on Monday after more than 100 teachers and other staff members called in sick.
Good for them.
We have received an overwhelming response from staff indicating they do not feel safe returning to classrooms with students. Gregory Wyman, district superintendent,
nor should they.
In a statement on Friday. Now, some activists in Arizona, which saw a high-profile teacher strike in 2018, said they hope teachers across America will adopt a similar strategy to keep educators safe, as some parents and politicians continue to push for schools in the U.S. to reopen during the coronavirus pandemic.
Fuck them.
I'd love to see a nationwide sick out. Kelly Fisher, an Arizona kindergarten teacher who has led protests in the state, told Reuters on Friday. In Santan Valley, a suburb of Phoenix, the J.O. Combs Unified School District's Board of Governors had voted to resume in-person classes on Monday. Another school district nearby had made a similar choice, pressured by some parents who argued that reopening schools would be best for their children.
Fuck them and fuck them some more. They don't want to fucking be with their kids. And I understand people have jobs and shit. I'm not unsympathetic to that. But at the same time, there's a fucking pandemic that has not been contained in this country. You want to expose other people that they could die, and that's okay because it's not you. Oh, well, you know what? It's not a big deal. The kid might get a little sick. But yeah, what if that fucking teacher then gets sick, then takes it home to somebody else in their family, or someone else that works at the school gets sick and takes it home to their family and kills them?
What if the kid gets sick and brings it home to you, you dumb fuck? It's like self-preservation not sending your kids to school at this point. People don't fucking understand it.
Hey, Paul, and these are the same people that when the teachers wanted to strike, they actually wanted to get a decent amount of pay and benefits and stuff, which none of these parents give a shit about, by the way, because they don't care. It's, they were against that, and the teachers had to strike then. So, I mean, I don't blame them. They should all fucking sick out or strike on a national level. Tell these fucking politicians and these parents that want to send them back, like, no, until you have proper safety measures, until this fucking pandemic is contained, until the conditions allow for this, fuck you. You're not going to put our lives on the fucking line.
I mean,
that's your business. You can't put my fucking life on the line too. You fucking worthless sacks of shit.
I'm a proponent of a nationwide general strike now, including any fucking group of people that are willing to do it. Essential workers, grocery store workers, delivery drivers, truck drivers, medical workers.
If we're being honest,
I am for a complete and utter general strike right now. Not tomorrow, not 20 years down the line when the material conditions are better for the left. We don't have that. We don't have 20 years. The time is never going to be riper. It's getting riper by the day. But if we allow this pandemic window to close behind us, it's going to be just another imposition that people forget. Workers are being asked to walk out into conditions where they might catch a disease and die. They are being treated like shit. They are being kicked out of their fucking homes because some of them were asked to stay home. If ever there was a time for a solidarity movement in this country, now is it. Walkout, national walkout of essential workers. This is the only language that the people that are against us speak. Profit and loss. And right now we're speaking a different language. We're speaking this electoral politics language. They bought and sold that a long time ago. They ensured that doesn't bring change a long time ago. The only thing now that'll bring change is hitting them where it actually hurts them, which is right in the fucking wallet. Shut their factories down. Shut their food stores down. Shut it all down. Refuse to leave your fucking apartments. Civil disobedience across the board, a national general strike until they come to the fucking table with a UBI or national unquestioned single payer during this fucking time of crisis. And then once we've seized that power, once we get those concessions, we don't stop. Then we start fixing some of this other shit. Progressive tax rate, fixing the tax rate to pre-Reagan era. When the fucking top 1% were actually paying their fair dues in this country.
Well, you have to remember something interesting too. In the 1950s, our tax rates were more similar to a country like Denmark.
Right.
90 percentile. And people talk about, the 50s. So all people want to harken back to the 50s. That's what our country was doing then. And people were doing a lot fucking better then.
Of course they were.
Maybe not in all respects, and not all
rich people do not actually pay 90% fucking taxes.
No, but that was the top progressive tax rate. That's what I'm saying.
Different ways to get out of it then, but they ended up paying a lot more than they pay now. For sure,
absolutely. There were loopholes back then, and no corporation or private individual paid the 90% effective tax rate, but they paid way more than they're paying now. Way more.
Yeah, we definitely paid more of their fair fucking share.
See,
we're talking about the 50s. We're not talking about every fucking group. Obviously, there's horrible shit still going on in the 50s, but we're talking about the tax rates.
If this happens, and I think it's a pipe dream, but if this were to happen and we jerked the chain and got a concession out of the United States government like a UBI, once we've done that once, people would wake up to the fact that we could have been doing that all along. And this electoral politics shit will get shoved to the side and we'll start jerking the chain when we need to and get the actual concessions out of this leadership that we need to. It's the only way for us to do it. It is the only way for us to do it. A hot war is stupid. I was watching Killdozer with fucking Amelia the other night. Not Killdozer. It's called Tread. There's a documentary about the Killdozer guy. We covered him, I think, briefly here.
The guy who, built a fucking Killdozer, like a bulldozer that was like almost impenetrable and invincible. And
it was not almost. When he sealed himself into it, he was dead already. There was no way out. There was no way in. So it was like, I watched that documentary and I watched law enforcement and the local National Guard and the local people for 6 hours throw everything they had at this thing and were completely unable to stop it. And that's one thing. The American military has 30,000 tanks. 30,000 tanks. And that's just tanks. That's not including jets, bombers. A hot war is silly. The material conditions are never going to be right for the left to rise up and fucking overthrow this government.
Oh, no.
So the material conditions that we need to be looking at do not need to be readiness for the American public to pick up a rifle and start a hot war. They need to be worker sentiment. Worker sentiment needs to be the material conditions that we're looking at. And when has it been worse in the last 100 years in this fucking country than now? If not now, when? It's all this bullshit tallywagging, fucking dilly-dallying about electing Biden and then bullying him, and the slow incremental change of electoral politics is bullshit. General strike now, walk out, jerk the chain, pull some of that money out of their wallet and show them you mean business, and take whatever they throw at you too, because if you think they're going to roll over and give it, you're wrong.
I mean, I'm not really so much concerned about them. I'm concerned about what they're going to do to the other half of the population that doesn't want to do that.
What do you mean?
Because, I mean, like, you fucking have a general strike. I mean, obviously, if popular support grew for a general strike, there's also going to be popular opposition to the general strike. Of
course.
Sure. You're going to have basically half the population is going to be like scabs.
Uh-huh.
And they're just going to be like, the people who are general striking right now are fucking terrorists who hate America.
A lot of the people on the other side of that, obviously the conservative leaning people, a lot of them are old. They're not going to go out and start working a fucking store. Maybe some of them will.
True.
What's that?
That's definitely true.
The opposition will be token. And I got to be honest with you. Republicans are getting horse piped too. And they know it. This idea that like all Republicans just love to suck corporate cock. Like it's fun to make that comparison.
Trump tells them to do.
But if you take it down to their actual pocketbook, they know they're getting horse fucked. They're getting horse fucked in the same way liberals are. They're not the only people that are mad about.
When you say like, all right, we're not going to do grocery service or this or that or the other thing. All those people who are going to be like inconvenienced by that are not going to blame the system. They're going to blame the strikers.
Sure.
So
so the material, that's always going to be true. So it is always going to be true. There's never going to be a time where that's not going to be true, and there's never going to be a time where we can just kick the can and try it later.
I'm sure there were peasants that were against the French Revolution.
There were.
I'm sure of it, dude. I'm sure there are people. No, No.
If you read about the French Revolution, there were collaborationists and shit that sided with the royals and fought against the fucking revolutionaries, and it happened. And the material conditions for that revolution, even though it wasn't a perfect one and it didn't lead to the liberation of the people like it was supposed to. So I'm not using it as a shining example.
No, definitely not. But I'm saying, but of course, there's always been people throughout every revolution that have been on the side of the fucking authoritarians or the government or whoever it is.
The point I'm trying to make is the material conditions for the French Revolution were never going to be perfect. The material conditions for the American Revolution were far from perfect when it took off. Right. Like, we have to try. If we don't try now, the stranglehold gets too tight and we can't try. And then it doesn't matter if we try. We may already be past that. But I would rather see us try now and deal with the fucking social upheaval that a general strike would cause and the bickering between the two sides that it would cause now. Then deal with it down the then deal with it down the road when the fucking resource wars start.
Yeah. The moment I feel like it's really just like too late and there's no more, like it's game over, is basically like when RoboCop happens. Like when we're at the level of RoboCop where it's like, you know, they don't even have to send a fucking human after you anymore. It could just be a fucking. The only difference
that you're waiting for is technology to catch up with RoboCop. Right now, they don't have. It's already there. It's already there. They don't have to have a warrant to kick your fucking door in. They can shoot your dog and just say "oopsie" and walk out. It's already RoboCop. Yeah. It's already RoboCop. The only thing that
I'm talking about, the actual piece of technology and equipment, because then they don't have. There's nothing even to lose for them anymore.
There's nothing to lose for them now.
Oh, you know, if they send a bunch of cops, that's still a human being that you could conceivably do something against. You can't do nothing against a fucking
right.
machine.
But when that happens, it's a boon for them. When a cop gets shot kicking somebody's door in, it's a boon for them. It boosts public sentiment for the cops. It's already RoboCop. We're already living in Neo Detroit, TJ. The corporations have already seized power. The only thing that's missing is an ED-209 unit walking around.
Yeah. Well, that's the point where I think it's like totally past the tipping point.
Wow.
When they don't even have to get their hands dirty anymore, and they can just fucking, you know, kill you with like a video game, or just like, I know at some point the technology is going to get to the level where they might just build like, here's our evil AI that monitors every single thing that happens everywhere on Earth, and the moment you even think of dissenting thought, you're like,
I mean, that may be a way.
Whatever. Oh, I'm sorry. I questioned the theory there for a second.
My thought shocker is here. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought about the government.
That sort of thing, you know, that may be fucking 2,000 years into the future. But this idea that we this idea that we don't have already automated shit. Like there are already automated armored vehicles that somebody can drive remotely, like a drone, that are used by police forces and military forces all over the country.
We already see how much more like they use drones than they ever used to use like actual fucking pilots piloting these things.
Right. If someone had the Killdozer now, it's very likely they could launch a fucking drone with a Hellfire missile and blow that fucking thing the fuck up anyways.
That's almost certainly what would happen. Like, it didn't happen because that talent, like, nobody was prepared for that shit. And it just shows you like how powerless we as a people are against an actual armored vehicle designed to resist bullet fire and explosions.
Yeah, if you can't, because most people have not most people, a lot of people have AR-15s and other fucking weapons. Yeah, but that's not gonna do shit to that thing.
They shot 50 cals at it and it just bounced off. Like, he had this thing. It was like hardened steel, a layer, and then he poured concrete between another piece of hardened steel. That's the encasement of this shit. So it would just absorb any shock you threw at it.
You need a bomb, or you need some sort of bomb or a missile or something.
The only thing that stopped it was he bulldozed a fucking store that he didn't know had a basement in it.
So here is a schematic, like a recreation of the Killdozer here.
If you watch, I cannot recommend enough that you watch the Netflix documentary Tread, because they actually rebuilt it for the documentary and did reenactments, and like, obviously this is not the Killdozer. The shit that's on the outside of this is movie magic,
right?
But this is what it looked like. They didn't actually remake the Killdozer. They built this shell to look like the Killdozer. This is the actual Killdozer.
There's the actual one here. Right. Polished, but still pretty intimidating.
But that documentary is fucking great, and it just goes to show you how powerless, because this county threw everything it had at this fucking thing and couldn't stop it. It stopped itself. He fucked up eventually. He bulldozed a store of one of his rivals that he did not know had a basement, and one of the treads slipped into the basement and pinned this thing down, and they were able to get him then.
You gotta fucking love how the only thing that stopped him was human error.
His own human error. Like they didn't even know how. Like they thought for about 5 of the 6 hours that this thing was being driven remotely. They thought there was no human being in it. They thought it was being controlled completely remotely. They were sweeping the town looking for him and wasting resources looking for him while he was in this thing.
It had been. I mean,
you can see these little portholes on it. Like if you go back up,
yeah,
or right there, that's perfect. Go back to one of the other ones you were just looking at, like on the sides. It's got these little portholes in it that had this super thick, I can't remember what the name of it is, Mylar, I think, glass that was completely bullet resistant, completely bulletproof. And he had cameras behind that and 3 or 4 monitors set up in the cockpit of this thing so he could monitor where the bulldozer was going via camera. They didn't even figure that out. Like they were like, how is he seeing where to go? How's he navigating this thing? It must be remote controlled. He's got to be somewhere in the area looking at this thing to do this. But he had it all rigged with cameras on the inside. And like I said, he was sealed into this thing to the point where he was dead. He knew he was dead as soon as he closed the hatch and welded himself into it. There was no way to get into this thing or out without killing him. So, and this was just one thing that a crazy dude in a little town that got pissed off made. The United States government has 30,000 fucking tanks that actually have, giant fucking high millimeter cannons on the front of them that are designed for urban warfare. Like this hot war thing, the material conditions are never going to be right unless there's some way that you can think of for leftists to seize a bunch of fucking tanks and get away with it. You know what I mean? And jets and nuclear subs.
I think an armed revolution against the government would be...
It's a pipe dream. The only revolutionary action that we have available to us that isn't a complete pipe dream is a national labor movement and national general strike, jerking the economic chain and forcing the fucking oligarchy to come to the table and negotiate with the people that live in this fucking country.
I mean, you're right. They're not going to do it unless they have no other fucking alternative. They're not just going to fucking go, you know what? These people bitched enough. Look, I'm on Twitter. Oh, people are whining on Twitter. We better go come to the table now.
And if you think they're ever going to stand by and allow a fucking progressive candidate to sneak by and actually become a candidate for president, you're fucking wrong. Period.
So this is an ad by a black Republican named Kim Classic.
I've seen this. This is her walking around, right?
Yeah, she walks around the town, and where the fuck is the actual ad?
Of course, they don't have it on the New York Post. Is a piece of shit.
I mean, what the fuck? I'll just pull it up in a different fucking.
Yeah, fuck the New York Post, dude. They have a shitty website.
Fucking garbage.
Hey, you want to see this fucking crazy ad that went viral? Yeah, that'd be good because that's what the story's about. Oh, sorry, we don't have it. Well, fucking thanks for nothing, New York fucking Post. I kind of wanted to see the ad, but
love it.
You're gonna love it, TJ. I can't.
So basically, she's put out an ad, and I watched it the other day, where she's walking around Baltimore and talking about how she's gonna fix it and how the Democrats have fucked it up. I think. Kim Classic's new ad draws national attention for 7th district race. Campaign ad. Black lives don't matter to Democrats. I think this is it.
It's probably the same fucking one that, what's his face? That's how Steven Crowder got bigger. He walked around Detroit and look what happened to Detroit. This is what liberals have done.
I don't know if this is the exact ad, but I think it is. So,
well, it's got 200,000 views. So
just take a look at it. I think this is at least an approximation of the kind of campaign she's running. Oh, kill your cams, please.
Oh, sorry.
Do you care about Black lives? The people that run Baltimore don't. I can prove it. Walk with me. They don't want you to see.
Yeah, this is it.
Yep.
They don't want you to see this.
I'm Kim Klasick. This is Baltimore.
All right, so classic. Sorry. I would say it classic if I was in her boat, but whatever.
Real Baltimore. This is the reality for Black people every single day. Crumbling infrastructure, abandoned homes, poverty, and crime. Baltimore has been run by the Democrat Party for 53 years. What is the result of their decades of leadership? Baltimore is one of the top 5 most dangerous cities in America. The murder rate in Baltimore is 10 times the U.S. average. The Baltimore poverty rate is over 20%. Homicide, drug, and alcohol deaths are skyrocketing in our city. Do you believe Black Lives Matter? I do. The vast majority of crime in Baltimore is perpetrated against Black people, who make up 60% of the population. So why don't we care about our communities? The Democrat Party have betrayed.
I love this chick, man. She just fucking walk around the city.
They've clearly
betrayed us.
They've clearly effectively cleared the streets for her too, so she's not actually like walking around the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Because there's like
there's nobody. I mean, you can see it
in buildings and shit.
You can see what looks like a person wandering around behind her here, but they're clearly slickly shooting this in places where there aren't people standing around. So she's not really walking around this fucking place.
The Black people of Baltimore. If the politicians walk the streets like I do, they would see exactly how their policies and corruption affects us. But they don't want to see it. They don't want you to see this. Go to any Baltimore neighborhood and ask this question. Do you want to defund the police?
No.
No.
Absolutely not. I had 3 sons killed in Baltimore City. And I think if we defund the police officer, it's going to be worse than that. So, no, I'm opposed to that.
What are you going to do? I'm opposed
the old
that resulted in the death of my 3 sons.
Well, I don't think he's saying that. I think he was saying he lost some sons in gang violence. And that but like, here's the thing. This selective quote mining shit has been a tactic of the right for a long time. The left uses it too, to be honest with you, but the right is particularly good at it. You guys remember the Occupy protests?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what they would do is they'd send a guy in and they'd find somebody that was sitting around Zuccotti Park that looked like a burnout, that probably was, because, you know, when you have these kind of movements, people of all stripes come. People that are politically active and knowledgeable come. People that aren't and just want to fucking sit around and be a hippie come. And they'd find those hippies that don't even know why they're there, basically, that are sitting around smoking doobies and counting their dreadlocks and go like, "What are you doing here?" And they'd go, "I don't know, man. It's, you know, the banks and stuff." You know, and that's all that gets published. They find 10 of those guys. They cut it all together. They cut out anybody that had a cogent argument, and they string together this fucking group of people that look like they. So, of course, she walks around Baltimore. She's going to find some black people that don't believe that the fucking police are a problem. She finds 2 or 3 of those, and now you got an ad. I guarantee you the sentiment in Baltimore against the police is not really reflected in these interviews.
Defund the police for? Why? How do you defend your city, your community? Families are losing people.
I mean,
obviously, what you do is
you guys are not doing that well now.
Yeah,
I don't understand this. Like, you just went up through this big screed about how awful Baltimore is, and then when someone actually has an idea, like maybe we should try a different approach to this, you're like having a bunch of fucking old folks be like, "No, man, we can't do that. It'll make things even worse." It's like, well, I mean, it doesn't sound like things can get much worse.
Plus,
maybe try something new.
The overarching
that she said. I'm sure. Look, I know Baltimore has a very high murder rate.
Yes, it does.
And I'm sure they have these problems with poverty, and yes, of course, people are killing this. Like, look at Ohio, the Rust Belt, a largely white state, a lot of white people overdosing on fucking fentanyl and heroin and all this other shit. Yeah. It is a failure of our political system. It's not just a failure of Democrats. It's a failure to reinvest in these communities. It's basically treating these communities like they don't matter. I'm sure the politicians in Baltimore are guilty. I've heard about corrupt-ass Baltimore politicians fucking these people over. But it's not just like, oh, the Democrats did it. No, it's corrupt. It's a corrupt government. It's a lack of investment by the state. It's a lack of investment by the federal government to these areas that desperately fucking need it.
I got an idea. How about Kim Klacik does some more walking tours and comes down south of the Mason-Dixon line and sees how some of these fucking cities look and operate? Ask some of these questions to black people living in these fucking bombed out looking neighborhoods down here where we live. This idea, the basic premise of this is flawed. The idea behind this campaign ad, as I can gather, is that Democrat-run cities are all shitholes. I don't tend to disagree. There's a lot of Democrat-run shitty cities that are shitty. But, yeah, come down south and see how a conservative-run city looks, and you're going to see a lot of parallels, dumb shit.
not just Baltimore. The worst place for a Black person to live in America is a Democrat-controlled city. It's 2020. Name a blue city where Black people's lives have gotten better. Try. I'll wait.
Most cities are blue, though.
Name a goddamn state or city where people's lives have by and large gotten better for the average citizen in this country.
What would this map look like if you excluded the word city and replaced it with towns? I wonder.
Oh no, I don't know. Oh, well, suddenly it wouldn't look the same, would it?
I don't think so. That's just me, though.
Look at this. How are children supposed to live here and play here?
You know, the other day, and we live in a Republican area. My wife showed me a picture of this really nice house. She's like, "Let me show you this." She's like, "This is this really fucking nice house. It's like got pillars in front of it. It's like 3 stories or 2 stories tall. It's huge. It's well maintained. It's opulent and stuff. It looks like, I mean, it's like not quite maybe a mansion, but pretty fucking close to being a mansion. Sure. And maybe right there on the cusp. And then she shows me this other house that like the roof is collapsing, kind of like this. There's still someone living there, even though the roof is like partially collapsed. But there's still like a car there. There's still someone living there. Still someone mowing their grass there and stuff. And the house looks like just a dilapidated piece of shit. You can just tell that whoever lives there is broke as shit. And, she asked me like, how far apart do you think these houses are? And I'm like, around here? I wouldn't be surprised if they were right next to each other. And she's like, no, they're like, well, there's, you're not quite that close. They're like 3 houses down from one another. And you see that all the time. You drive around the neighborhoods in this area, you see like these really nice houses that are right next to just ramshackle, miserable little houses where people are, I mean, like, it's not even like the class stratification is just like everyone's mixed up together. But it just draws that contrast even more sharply where you see like the super rich person living next to the person who's dirt fucking poor.
Yeah.
Dude, we have that in my neighborhood, dude. There's a house like right on the corner of like a major street here, and it's a fucking huge ass house. I mean, it's an estate, you could say. I mean, like it has fucking these nice brick walls around. It has like this beautiful front facade and all this. Still has a pool. It's like on like an acre or 2 acres. The house next to it it's a nice, middle class home. It's actually pretty nice. And then there's a house right across the street from it that basically just looks like a ramshackle thing covered in fucking moss and mold. It's obvious people live there because the trash can gets brought out, the yard's in disrepair, the fence is in disrepair, everything just in total fucking shambles. You see it all the time, dude. And you'll see it in cities. You'll go on different streets. One street, oh wow, look at these wonderful houses. Next street, it's rampant poverty, and it's all over this fucking country. It's in every fucking place you go to, pretty much.
Right. So I mean, my point here though is just like, I've been to some Republican led areas. I've been to some Democrat led areas. And, like, it's all the same shit. Like, there's poverty all over the place. There's fucking human misery all over the place. I mean, like, this is about the entirety of the fucking system and the American way of doing things. This is not a problem of Baltimore. This is a problem of America.
I completely agree with you. Yeah. And the thing is, too, like, yeah, to point that out, Mandeville just had a mayor race, the area we live in. The 2 candidates both had R's next to their names. This is conservative land, and it's still going on. So Republicans don't care about white lives. Well, when we say that, Republicans just don't care about the lives of white people.
It's just Republicans trying to get black people to fall for the same scam that poor white people are already fucking falling for.
You go and indict these fucking corporations. You want to know why these cities look like that? Because all the jobs and all the industry and all the things that supported people were fucking gutted, just like this house. They've collapsed on themselves for the average fucking person.
Wages have remained.
In Baltimore, sitting in fucking mansions right now, going, "Oh well, they just don't care about their lives, do they?"
Wages are flat. Wages are fucking flat. It's the reason that ghettos and bombed out places like this exist in the North and the South, Democrat-run and Republican-run cities, is because the fucking balance has shifted. Like, wages have been flat for how long now? 50, 60 years?
Yeah. This is, I believe, since the 1960s.
And corporate profit has continued to skyrocket in that time. And you don't see what the fucking problem is. You don't walk, like, if you're walking through Baltimore and you think that there's a cabal of Democrats that are like, let's turn this into a bombed out hovel with no other fucking like, goal other than that. You're fucking stupid. This is a result of economic policies that your Republican Kim Klacik ass is going to push as soon as you get elected, if you get elected. And the plight of these black people that you found that are unfortunately misinformed enough to think that defund the police means they won't be protected are going to get worse. Ugh.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the last 40 seconds of this ad.
Democrats think black people are stupid. They think they can control us forever, that we won't demand better, and that we'll keep voting for them forever, despite what they've done to our families and our communities. Are they right?
What are you proposing that's going to be better? Because I've not seen, like, show me the Republican tendency to pull people out of poverty.
I'll wait.
I've never seen it. I've never seen that demonstrate.
Yeah, by the way, I want to send this to you as soon as this ad's done. This is showing a long-term view on wages in the United States. Well, let's finish this ad first.
All right, let's just go ahead and wrap it up then.
Right? I'm Kim Klacik, and I'm running for Congress because I actually care about Black lives. All Black lives matter. Our communities matter. Baltimore matters.
And you're going to do what?
People don't have to vote Democrat.
Vote Democrat. You just have to vote for someone that gives a shit about these neighborhoods. And I'm glad you claim to, but you have no solutions. You're just saying, look, there's a problem.
Dressing up in your expensive ass Chanel shit and your red bottom shoes that cost more than what those people fucking have to put on their plates every month is not showing people anything other than that you're a part of the problem. Look how she's dressed. Like, don't you think if you're going to try and make this point, you're not going to dress to the nines in an expensive ass dress and expensive ass fucking stiletto heels?
The vast majority of crime.
Do you think you want to dress it down and maybe like wear some normal clothes like the people that live in these neighborhoods do to show that you empathize with them? No. Put on your fucking party dress and your fucking $2,000 pair of fucking red bottoms and let's go for a stroll.
I'm telling you, dude, you're going to love this.
Go ahead and send me that chart, please.
I put it in the chat for you.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you another way I can send to you on Twitter if you want.
Probably better send it on Twitter so it doesn't disrupt my
okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send you that right now.
Feed here.
Okay, the amazing fat nihilist.
Yep. Send it on down.
Send it on down, boy.
Send it on down. Here's this fake story on the New York Post again, by the way. AOC nominates Bernie Sanders, snubs Joe Biden in DNC address.
That's because
man, the fucking press is so fucking brazen with their fucking lies. That's why they get away with so much shit.
It's not even calculated in most cases. Like, they're so used to just running with whatever story that came out. I guarantee you that shit was written right around the time that NBC story dropped at like 3 a.m. yesterday.
Yeah, they're just like, yeah, we'll do it too.
Oh, yeah. Yo, AOC snubbed Biden.
Wait a minute.
That's the one underneath it.
That ain't it.
No, that was the one I sent you for a grease trap. It's right underneath it.
Okay. I clicked the most recent goddamn one.
You don't see assets one?
Stop it. Every time I fucking scroll down to it, it scrolls back up. Here we go. Long-term view of wages in the United States. Real hourly earnings for production and non-supervisory employees in the U.S.
So average people.
So here we go.
Guys, 1964. Damn, we're going up. It's around $20.
By the way, this is adjusted for inflation. So they were not making $23 in 1970. That would have been an absurdly high wage at that time.
Yeah, this is so you guys understand it in today's dollars.
So they've adjusted it to 2019 dollars. So the median wage is about $23.24 in 1973, and it's
awesome.
And it's the same in March of 2019. Stagnant completely across the 70s, the 80s, the 90s.
Lower in the 90s.
Yeah, 90s.
But it's not, I mean, like, we've not, it's like, so since the 60s, like, wages have just been, like, pretty much, like, they've gone up and down a little, but pretty much they've been flatlined around this fucking area.
This line is effectively straight.
Yeah.
When you take into account the dips and the rises, this is it's like a heart monitor where the person has died. That's been American wages since the 70s.
Oh, we were just about to the point in 2020 before this pandemic hit. I'm going to get to a point where we're actually going to rise above the high. And only taking us, what's that, 50 years? Wow, 50 years to go up 1%.
It wasn't going to happen.
but I'm sure that
we find this
the wages of CEOs and stuff have been every bit as stagnant as this, right?
No, they're pretty
much like on par with this too. Right?
Their graph looks like about a 70-degree angle rise. It's just completely skyrocketed since this same time. And that's the problem. That's why Baltimore looks like a bombed out fucking shithole. That's why the South looks like a bombed out shithole.
1978 to 2018. How much by percentage do you think CEO compensation grew?
I know it's absurd. I know it's like 2,000% or something.
I'm going to say 800%.
I'm sorry, you guys have underbid bid this. It's actually 1,007%.
Yeah, I said 2,000, so I overbid it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. You said,
but I was closer to it. Yeah,
this
absurd.
is fucking crazy. I'm looking at a fucking chart of CEO pay, and what?
That is why your cities look like bombed out hovels, because that money used to be invested into the people and the cities that the people lived in and the roads that people drove on and the community centers that people used and the schools that people sent their children to. That money used to go there, and it no longer goes there. It goes into the wallets of the top 1% of people. And that's why Baltimore is bombed out, Kim Klasick. That's why your stilettos look so anachronistic and weird walking up and down those dirty, gum-stained fucking sidewalks in Baltimore, Kim. Because people like you and your counterparts on the left have slowly but surely over the course of 50 years extracted all the value from the lower classes and hoarded it at the top and left us in the rubble. Just like how I want to shake some people because it's so fucking obvious to me. What's going on? The extraction is at foot. We're being fucked. We're being horse fucked, not by Republicans, not by Democrats, but by the bought out, sold out political class. Period.
Well, of course they don't care. I mean, Nancy Pelosi, like, as my mom and Steve love to always talk about, we talk about Nancy Pelosi, like, she got a fridge full of Jenny's ice cream. And I'm like, yeah, I agree with you on that point. She's not an average person. She has $300 worth of ice cream in her fucking, $3,000 to $5,000 refrigerator in her fucking palatial fucking estate or her fucking mansion that she lives in. That's worth millions upon millions of dollars, of course.
All right. Let's talk about what's really important, though. Kim Kardashian returns to LA while Kanye West stays in Wyoming. It's where he wants to live.
I got to tell you, dude, my esteem for Kim K was pretty much in the toilet this time last year. And now she's so humanized in my mind that I'm actually becoming a fan of her because what she's dealing with and the grace with which she's doing it should be an example to people. Because I can't imagine the shit that Kim K gets having a bipolar husband who's untreated. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also think that, I 100% agree with what you just said, by the way. But I also think that it's crazy to me. Like, it just shows the eccentricity of Kanye West that he would want to live in fucking Wyoming of all places.
Have you seen what he's doing in Wyoming?
Yeah, I have. And also I've actually heard from people who live in Wyoming because some people have actually written to me and said that now, of course, this is just the rumor mill, but they've said that they live in Wyoming and that there's a bunch of contractors in Wyoming that are pissed at Kanye West because he's hired a bunch of people to do these jobs, and apparently he's slow paying all of them. Like, everyone's still waiting for their money.
So, but have you heard why he's engaging all these contractors and what he's building in Wyoming?
Some kind of weird, like,
it's a cult
thing.
It is a cult.
It's a cult.
Yes. He's building a cult compound in Wyoming right now, which is ostensibly like going to be like a children's home and stuff. But if you look at what he's built already, it's a giant church. It's an open sky church where he gives services and people from the community show up and socially distance. And he stands at the pulpit and preaches, and he's building a bunch of housing and stuff for volunteers to come. And he's building a place for unwanted kids to go. It's a cult. He's literally doing it. He went out in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming and bought a fucking huge tract of land. And he's building a huge complex on it.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Nothing but land in Wyoming. So
that's what I'm saying. It's perfect. It's the perfect place. It's doing it.
Fuck, though, man. That's the one thing I feel bad for the cultists, man. That is a cold as fuck place in the winter. Beautiful, beautiful country, though.
I predict that this will not be a success, but maybe it will. Kim Kardashian has returned to Los Angeles with her 4 children as husband Kanye West remains in Wyoming. They had been vacationing together as a family since August 2nd, but separated once again on Sunday night as Kardashian and 3 of their kids flew home, a source tells People. North, 7, spent time with her dad in Cody before reuniting with her mom and siblings. On Monday night, West tweeted a photo of himself and North posing in a body of water, the mountains behind them. Daddy Daughter Time, the rapper wrote, adding an emoji of someone skiing. Okay. The source says Wyoming is where he wants to live. As for his wife, Kardashian, 39, is happy to be back in LA. The source says it's hard traveling with the kids for such a long time. Yeah. Why Wyoming, man? I've driven through Wyoming. I mean, I guess it's because land is cheap there, like you guys said, but
not only is land cheap, but Kanye West is like miles from anybody else. He can do whatever the fuck he wants up there. The scrutiny level, like he's got a private property line that fucking like completely protects.
Right now, if what I'm hearing from locals is correct, he's not avoiding scrutiny. He's maybe avoiding some scrutiny. But the people there are kind of pissed that he's
avoiding the paparazzi, TJ. When you have like 5,000 acres,
paparazzi ain't going to Wyoming just to get a fucking snapshot of Kanye.
Oh, they would if they could. But the thing is, he's bought so much land that they can't get close enough to get a picture. We get pictures from him of what he's doing over there.
We should try to infiltrate his cult, though. That might be fun.
Well, here's the thing. You say that it doesn't sound like it's going to work. Have you guys heard of Athene?
No.
So Athene is this internet personality that started as like this meme lord guy that made World of Warcraft videos. He now runs a cult. It's not a huge cult, but basically what he did was he parlayed his success as a memeing kind of video game commentator into this like movement, he calls it. And I can't remember what the name of the movement is. But the basic point is he used donations and the money he was making from his live streams to purchase a giant building in Germany. And it's filled with bedrooms and facilities and computers for people to work at. And what it is you engage with the community and you say, it is my intent to join you. I believe in what you're doing over there. Because the outward face of it is we want to change the world. We want to engage people of all skill levels to create a new movement that brings light to corruption and blah, 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 blah. Once you get there to this Germany place, you find out that Athene basically tells everybody what to do. His word is law. You're given room and board and you're asked to work on whatever your skill level is. And if you question at all the motives of the people that run the cult, you're kicked out. And he's just a live streamer. Kanye West is a fucking billionaire.
Yeah.
He could do it. Like, don't discount this.
I think the flaw with this is Kanye West himself. I think even if he did start a successful cult, he would lose interest in it in about 2 or 3 years. But I could be wrong.
Sure, but during that time, people are going to join it.
I think it'll be. I think it'll be a thing for a minute. I just don't know that he's going to be able to sustain it. We might even get to see. Maybe he'll break Jim Jones' record for the biggest mass suicide. I don't know. I guess am I hoping for me? I don't know.
That went real fucking dark.
Yeah, you got dark real quick, DJ. You're hoping for a Jim Jones suicide up at the Wyoming Peace Ranch, huh?
Drink that Kool-Aid.
Jesus.
Millions in U.S. face losing water supply as coronavirus moratoriums end. Water shutoffs threaten base. Is this basically just another like everything's going to shit post?
Yep.
Millions of families in America risk losing running water over unpaid bills as moratoriums on shutoffs expire across the country despite record levels of unemployment and mounting fatalities from the coronavirus pandemic.
Because we live in a corporate dystopia where a basic element that human beings literally can't survive without is monetized. And if you don't make enough bread, you can't drink water.
Mm-hmm. Running water had been guaranteed to about 2/3 of Americans as hundreds of utilities suspended disconnections amid warnings from public health experts and that good hygiene, particularly hand washing, was crucial to curtailing the spread of the virus. But now at least 150 local moratoriums on water disconnections, including the statewide orders in Indiana and Ohio, have expired. That leaves 46 million or so people at risk of having their taps turned off, even as the pandemic rages.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm sure the federal government will intervene.
The federal government seems about as useless as fucking. What? No, I don't even know what to fucking
tits on a boar.
Something as useless as the federal government at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. People talk about like food insecurity, man. If you don't drink water for 3 days, and I don't think most people are going to fucking necessarily die from thirst, but I mean, it's kind of crazy. There's actually ordinances, or not ordinances, like there's like fucking laws in certain cities that if you share water with someone that had their water turned off, you can be fined. Have your water shut off.
I have a good saying for you, TJ, when you're at a loss for how useless something is. I cribbed it from fucking Casino. Useless as tits on a boar. There you go.
I was going to use tits on a boar, but then I honestly, I was like tits on a boar. But then I was like, tits on a boar actually seems more useful than the federal government is. So
they're literally useless. If a boar didn't have tits, it would still be the same exact boar. They're literally the epitome of useless.
Yeah, but you know what? Maybe someone could jerk off to them tits on that boar.
Maybe.
At least get some use out of it.
I guess so.
No one jerking off to the federal government.
Seems like a reach, but there's plenty of people jerking off to the federal government. You been on Twitter lately, buddy?
Oh, yeah.
Both sides of the fucking aisle.
Oh, federal government. No one likes the federal government. Even people who basically are sucking the federal government's dick still don't like the federal government.
What do they like from the federal government? I'll tell you exactly what they like. There's very few things. The post office, that polls well. Medicare, that polls well, despite what everyone fucking says. They want that shit. Social Security, that polls well.
Wait a minute. Basically, all of the elements of the federal government that poll well are the most socialistic elements. It's kind of crazy.
As far as I know, yes.
I love how America is like, yeah, we love the socialism we have. It's like, how about some more? And they're like, no, I'm scared. It's like, fuck you.
Americans love socialism in so many respects. Police, socialized. Fire department, socialized. Oh, medical transport, socialized.
Road maintenance, socialized.
Yeah, no problem.
And then every time we read one of these stories, it's like giant corporations, evil. Giant corporations, evil. Giant corporations, evil. It's like, how long does this mantra have to continue?
And yet, TJ, we see it over and over again. Oh, well, giant corporation, evil. They poured sludge into a river that everyone drinks out of. What will be the penalty?
And
pay a massive fine.
And by the way, TJ, I take a little bit of umbrage with the statement that you made that even the people that are slobbing the knob of the government don't like it. I think at this point it's become a hate fuck fetish, if anything. Maybe. Because they're sucking that dick harder than ever. It's like if they were just listless about it, you'd think the blowjob the federal government was getting from both sides of the aisle would be like a pretty fucking lame one with a lot of teeth and
a toothy blowjob.
You know, a toothy blowjob. But no, dude, it's like here's what's going on. Like, and I'll point the finger at leftists right now. Here's what's going on. Oh man, I hate this fucking government. Oh fuck, they suck. You know, it's like, why are you twisting two hands and deep throating this motherfucker and trying to make it come so hard if you hate it so bad? You know what I mean? I don't buy it.
I buy it because look, I mean, it's like people are able to fucking build cognitive, like, I'm going to go back to the conservatives with it, but like, it's the most fucking obvious example to me is like all these bootlickers with this fucking cop shit going on. Like all these people who have said for years that they hate the state, that they hate that we have our guns in case the government ever goes authoritarian and all this other stuff. And then when we're like in a police state, they could do the fucking instant reaction is to suck the fucking dick of the police.
They love it.
The dick of fucking, Trump, the president, like every fucking piece of the authoritarian structure and every piece of the government that they claim they hated for all these years.
They don't hate it. They never did.
Oh my God, suck its fucking dick as hard as I possibly fucking can.
The conservatives, almost by their very definition, are having those sort of leanings. That's what they're supposed to be. They're the people that like, we love our authoritarian government. We like the fact that it's getting more authoritarian. We're fine with religious liberty and social liberties being cracked down on as long as they're not our sensibilities. That's why that's all the Republicans will protect. Like they're not going to go after Christianity. Oh, I feel these churches should be open. We got to open these churches back up right away. Oh, this mosque wants to open up. Oh, they can't do it.
I think the left is the same way. I think there's a lot of fucking cosplaying going on right now.
Reverse it.
I think there's a lot of fucking cosplaying going on right now. I think there's a lot of people that are presenting themselves as hard leftists that somehow always seem to find themselves on the side of fucking the authoritarian center corporatist side of the Democratic Party. You know what I mean? A pattern is starting to emerge. Talk big shit, but the ultimate end is elect your oppressor again. But next time we'll get there. And then next time comes around. Oh, no, not right yet. Elect your oppressor again. But next time, y'all, the fucking fury of the people will be felt. It's been 60 some odd years. Where's the fury of the fucking people? I just don't think it exists. I think there's a lot of fucking cosplayers out there that don't give a fuck. They want comfort. They want that comfort of normalcy. They want that air conditioning to stay on. They want that Netflix to keep coming through. This is what's burning in their heart of hearts. They're not a revolutionary. They're not counterculture. They just want to kick back, man. They just want things to coast along.
I mean, I think that most people want those creature comforts. And I think that part of the reason why there's even talk of a revolution happening is because people are losing those things. You know, I think people want to maintain like something of a nice lifestyle. Maybe it's not the same exact world that we live in right now. Maybe we have to make some sacrifices here or there. Maybe there's like some aspects that have to like where people have to change. But for the most part, I don't think people want to like throw themselves into like misery and strife and struggle anymore than they've already been talking.
Instead of looking around in horror and shame, they're going, it's gonna be fine.
They don't want to fight for it. They don't want to fight for it. They want to pretend that there's this perfect material condition where times will be right. They don't want to go through the suffering like people did during the civil rights movement in this country, or the Revolutionary War in this country, or the Civil War in this country. They don't want to go.
They had to fight. I mean, there's when it comes to a certain point, like civil rights, like it's like, okay, we can either accept this fucking status quo because it's like that's just where we are. It's not about something that might happen to us. It's like this is like our position in the fucking world, and the only way it's going to change is if we fucking fight this system.
We're there now. When it comes to economic justice,
we're there. There's not widespread agreement. Like one of the fucking problems that fucking really stifles the left at this point, in my opinion, is there's no fucking widespread consensus or agreement. Everyone has their own idea about what needs to be done, what the path is.
Do you know why that is?
Utopia, and no one's willing to fucking diverge from their path.
Do you know why that is?
Compromise with one another or come to some consensus. It's just like, we got to fucking do it this way or it's not even worth fucking doing.
Do you know why?
My vision is a piece of shit and they're my enemy. So instead of having like a cogent left that's fighting for an objective, you have all these different factions arguing with each other because they can't come to like a consensus, even though we agree what the problems are. And we agree generally on what the solution is, how we get there. There's like wide range fucking disagreements. So until you have consensus there on at least like, or at least some.
They didn't wait for consensus for the civil rights movement. They manufactured it. They went out and put their fucking asses on the line and people saw them doing it on the news and joined them.
Look, there was a lot of different approaches during the civil rights movement.
Of course.
Probably the two of the most notorious would probably be the Malcolm X approach versus the Martin Luther King approach. And it turned out that maybe both those approaches needed to be done simultaneously. They
were both something that wasn't going to the ballot box and expecting the slow rolling change of electoral politics to change it.
Well, no, MLK definitely believed in electoral politics.
No, of course he did, but that wasn't what
one part of the strategy.
That wasn't what drove the civil rights movement. What drove the civil rights movement was people hitting the streets in unprecedented numbers and shutting down local economies, marching on Washington in numbers that could not be ignored. And making demands of the fucking federal government. That's what it was about. It was about civil disobedience. Some of it violent, most of it non-violent.
Well, like the Selma Bridge Walk is so famous because the first time they tried to fucking do it, they peacefully walked across a bridge and got fucking beaten by the authoritarian thugs of the state.
Yep.
Just wanted to march to the Capitol. That's it.
And that's what they exposed themselves to. And I think that right now there's a lot of comfy leftists that love putting on the fucking beret with the hammer and sickle on it, but that ultimately just want to be able to chill and play video games and shit And that's why it's riding with Biden. And that's why it's the material conditions are not correct. And that's why let's ignore the fact that people are getting their water shut off and kicked out into the streets in the middle of a pandemic. And let's pretend Biden's going to be the Band-Aid that fixes that.
Joe Biden, because Biden would stop it right now.
Oh yeah, he'd stop it. His first act would be to immediately stop this, to immediately provide economic justice for people and to make sure that everybody has a baseline access to clean water and housing, no matter what their economic status is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
no way.
Well, I can understand if they supported him if that was on the table, but that's not so.
No, there's no Joe Biden's not even.
Yeah,
he's not even discussing it.
Not even blowing that smoke up your ass at this point. He's not even trying to act like he's going to do that. Cop accused of stealing $10K from resident. Prosecutor says, I don't know what resident of what. Just a resident. Palisades Park police sergeant was accused of stealing $10,000 from a borough resident, authorities said Thursday. Sergeant Christopher Sambogna, 50, was arrested and charged with theft by unlawful taking or disposition, according to Bergen County prosecutors Mark Musella. The officer was suspended from his position with the 38-member police department. Borough police received a complaint from a resident that Sambogna had taken money and alerted the prosecutor's office. He should have just done this as should have just said this money was used in drugs or whatever.
Yep.
I guess he probably personally took it for himself though, so I guess that wouldn't work. Yeah. So yeah, just a fucking, just a criminal cop, I guess.
Go down the bottom.
Yeah.
State records show Samboyna joined the department in 2004 and earned $137,495 as of last year.
What?
Nice little six-figure set.
He's making $140,000 a year, and he's taking $10,000.
Nice little six figures, but you gotta supplement that, Scotty. 6 figures ain't enough.
Oh, you do it the right way. You seize it for bullshit reasons. You steal it, and then you give it back to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you do it right. That's how you do it the legal way, Paul. Civil forfeiture. Come on. You can't just take it in your pocket.
By the way, this is just the guy that got caught. This is not an outlier or a bad apple. This is just the guy that got caught. This is happening in pretty much every police department.
By the way, Kamala Harris, the VP for the Democratic Party, a big supporter of civil asset forfeiture.
Oh, yeah. Big supporter of.
I got arrested because there's probably evidence. There's probably like a camera or some shit that busted his ass. Where there's no way to be like, because I guarantee you, if he was arrested this quick, it wasn't just like, I said the cop did it.
Or he pissed somebody off at the department and they decided to drop the dime on him.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, someone might have wanted his ass out so they could advance or something. Oh, he's guilty. Take him out. Oh, that happens all the time too.
Cops can legally steal from you. We've done episodes on it. I mean, like the police can just go take your shit. This guy obviously didn't go. I mean, like there's already a system of legalized theft. If you're a police officer, he wasn't even willing to abide by that. I'm just going to outright steal it.
One of the craziest things you taught me about that episode too was that, like, let's say you live in a state where, like, you know what, our state law says you can't take that. There's a federal loophole. They can go take it anyways.
You go right through the federal loophole.
So guess what? It's legal in every fucking state, every jurisdiction. You're fucked. If they want to take your shit, they'll find a way.
But don't defund the police, though, because this 6-figure salary employee that was ripping off the local taxpayers to the tune of $10,000 in chunks.
Well, not even ripping off just stealing from people.
Right.
I ripped them off. Go to their pocket and just taking the fucking money out of it. Hey, let me borrow that $10K.
So, yeah.
What the fuck, dude?
There you go.
Yeah, like Paul says, this guy is probably not as much of an outlier as they'd like you to believe.
No.
There's no probably about it. He's just not an outlier.
A Connecticut inmate who killed himself with a mask meant to prevent the spread of COVID-19, officials say. I don't really know. How would you kill yourself with a mask?
That's why I pulled this, because I didn't read the whole article and I want to find out how he did it.
An inmate at Connecticut prison was confirmed dead this week after he was found with a cloth mask intended to prevent the spread of COVID-19 tied around his neck. So I guess he used it to strangle himself.
I guess the elastic could be used to you could tighten that up to where it chokes off your carotid arteries and shit.
I have some masks here, obviously. I mean, I think everyone should.
Yeah, I do.
The thing with me is none
of my masks would be capable of killing me that way.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm like, it's probably more likely. Wouldn't it be likely he was murdered that way?
I've got this mask right here, which is a cloth mask. And
that could strangle you.
If I put this around my neck and tightened it up, somebody could strangle me with this. Easy.
Okay.
Like if I
do it yourself though,
if I put this on and then got a tourniquet, just put like something through it and twisted, I could fucking sit there and cut my carotid off until I passed out. And if it was tight enough, I'd die. You know.
Well, there you go. I don't think any of my masks would be strong. Like my mask would just the little strings would just snap. I mean, there's no fucking way.
Yeah. So it depends on what kind of mask he had, I guess.
The ligature was made from the cloth mask issued to the offender population to prevent the spread of novel coronavirus. Staff attempted to provide medical aid and called 911, the DOC said. Ocasio was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. His death is under investigation, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he might have been murdered. I mean, that's true. He was at the facility at Uncasville in an area of Montville since August 5th, charged with third-degree burglary. Is being held on $10,000 bond. Hey, maybe that cop could have bailed him out.
Yeah, maybe so.
Cop last story.
It's weird, though.
Their bail bondsmen, TJ, so they'd have to put up about 10% of it. But they'd probably, a lot of those low fucking level offenders shouldn't even really be held by law.
This is kind of fun. I don't know. I haven't actually watched this, but my understanding is this is a total fucking screaming match for like 20 minutes, but this is only a minute of it.
Okay.
Anderson Cooper is apparently arguing with the My Pillow guy.
Okay. I know the My Pillow guy is a big Trump supporter, so.
Yeah, so here's Anderson Cooper calling him a snake oil salesman.
Okay.
I'm telling you, this is the answer. What you want to say, this is what my heart is. I gave it to my friends and family.
Do you guys kill your
cam? Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
Like a snake oil salesman. I mean, this is you could be.
I gave it to my friends and family.
You really are like a snake oil salesman. I mean, this is you could be standing on a box telling people to drink your amazing elixir.
I give the glory to God. I do what Jesus has me do. I give the glory to God, and I want to help people.
Jesus
That's my passion. I'm not driven. I'm not money driven.
Remedies that are not remedies because they've never been tested. I am not money driven,
and why would I do this? Ask yourself why I would ruin my
to make money. Yeah, duh. Like, you see how quickly that was easily answered, even by Anderson fucking Cooper, dude.
You're on a fucking shit level when Anderson Cooper can just Anderson's just like money,
dumb shit.
Dude. My Pillow guy gets schooled by Anderson Cooper. That's a sad day for you.
You're out here doing the work of Jesus. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that's for your sales, dude. Come on.
No one's buying that. I mean, I guess some people.
Oh yeah, they're buying it.
People buy My Pillow, dude. I've seen a bunch of
no one's buying this Jesus bullshit, but yeah, they are too. So whatever.
It's a good Christian company, TJ.
You don't have a great.
Oh really? Well, if you say that, I'm going to pray for you, Anderson.
Better Business Bureau.
You're in my prayers, Anderson, because they destroyed me when I went all in for this great president. That's what it was. I was
on
the
Better Business Bureau of Minnesota is going after you because you support Trump.
I was up for their torture award, their highest award they give to the best companies in the country.
Then they looked into your advertisement.
As soon as I went all in for the president, the Better Business Bureau lowered me from an A+ to an
F.
Dude, when you're getting fucking butt raped by Anderson Cooper and this badly, you need to just not go on shows, bro.
Oh my God, he's just yelling and screaming, and like he just becomes so much chat, like, blah, 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 blah. And Anderson Cooper's just totally calm, like, come on. Oh, sir.
Well, Anderson Cooper, Lord,
I pity you're pathetic.
This guy, but this My Pillow guy gets a win in a sense too, because he used to go fucking play the persecuted Christian. Like, I just tried to go on there and talk about God.
Well, that is a good point. That is a good point. This does serve him within that community for sure.
It is sad that the companies do stuff like that out there.
Professes faith. For you to lie like this is really extraordinary to me.
A gay homosexual liberal attacked this man's faith.
Yeah. Apparently he's out there. This dude's out there pushing some kind of drug or something.
Oh, fuck the My Pillow, dude. I don't know if he's pushing a drug, but I know he was pushing like My Pillow had like a bunch of health benefits. He's like, oh, it'll relieve this and cure this and deal with this.
He's pushing for Olendrin.
Oh, he is? Oh, wow.
Olendrin, I guess, a potential therapeutic for COVID-19. Last week, he was added to the board of Phoenix Biotechnology,
Oh my God! He's a snake oil salesman. All right,
financial stake in the company. CNN reported.
Dude, he's a total. He's the definition of a snake oil salesman.
Yep.
He's literally selling.
Once again, Anderson, I can't figure out how to do the news right. Cooper zeroed in on this guy not once, not twice, but like 3 times in this 1-minute clip, and just completely dismantled his argument. That is sad. You're at the bottom of the barrel.
One. I mean,
apparently that's just 1 minute of a 20-minute fucking screaming match.
Well, I might actually go look this up because Anderson, like, I'm not a fan, but he was on fire in this one. This dude was not prepared.
Anderson Cooper. The thing about Anderson Cooper in this particular clip is just like, this guy is so unhinged and screaming, and Anderson's just so like casual about it. Like, sir, you're an imbecile. You know,
I mean, like, sometimes that doesn't play as well as it.
Yeah, but in this one, it does.
It does. Yeah,
it's just the right fucking tool for this job.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the fucking dude, the MyPillow dude, is totally selling that. He's acting the histrionics, the fucking rambling, off the wall, all over the place bullshit. Not even like Anderson Cooper seems cohesive. This guy is all over the place, and he's doing the fucking worst thing you can do when you're dumb. Is he's talking too much, and he's fucking setting himself up to get fucking slam dunked on by Allison Cooper, but Anderson Cooper.
Hold on, I wasn't planning on pulling the story. I saw it in the sidebar though.
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
Trump urges boycott of Goodyear tires over MAGA attire policy. The fuck is going on here?
They probably have a policy like a lot of corporations do of not letting their employees wear political advocacy while they're working, and so they banned MAGA hats. Probably
don't buy Goodyear tires. They announced a ban on MAGA hats. Get better tires for far less. This is the radical left Democrats do. 2 can play this game, and we have to start playing it now. Okay. Well, I regret that I even looked into this, but microplastic particles now discoverable in human organs. New technique expected to enable scientists to find accumulated microplastics in humans.
I mean, this is almost a foregone conclusion, by the way, that your average person is swimming in these.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, there's so much of this. Microplastics and nanoplastic particles are now discoverable in human organs thanks to a new technique. Microplastics have polluted the entire planet, from the Arctic snow and alpine soils to the deepest oceans. People are also known to consume them via food and water and breathe them in because they're so tiny.
Yeah.
Potential impact on human health is not yet known. I'm just going to make a prediction. Not great. It's probably not great.
There's no need to worry about. Remember that fucking tugboat they're sending out from San Francisco and shit? It's going to pick up all this plastic and shit. They got those like berms and stuff in the water, dude.
Berms, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. You don't need to fucking worry, guys.
We got this, guys.
Send that little tugboat out there. It's going to clean up all the plastic in the ocean, even though there's a trash guy twice the size of Texas.
And why
clean that shit up?
Plastics have been around for a long time. Why do you think there have been any major studies into the health effects that they have on human beings? You think maybe the answer to that question is not one that is wanted?
Also, yeah. Paul, the man that invented plastic did not ever intend it to be single use. And actually, one of the plastic bags he created, he carried around for most of his life in his pocket.
Of course.
So like, even if you look at plastic and this, like I'm obviously the creator, somebody doesn't necessarily dictate what happens to it, but just the creation of it was like, oh, people won't have to use a bunch of products. And it was just perverted and made the other way around to like everything should be disposable.
So it looks like we're finally starting to investigate what these microplastics are doing. And it looks like they only just now discovered a technique.
Microbeads used to be in face scrubs and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Those were recently just banned because of what the impact
5 years ago or something, right?
Yeah, because they traced them what the ecological effects of them. They were devastating the number of plant species and animal species. Just because people were washing their face, it goes to the water supply, then starts killing these animals. Just recently, the area we live in New Orleans, there was a spill of a bunch of tiny little, I think they're called nurdles or something. They're tiny little pieces of plastic.
They're used to feed 3D printers.
Well, anyways, one of those fell off a ship during a thunderstorm, and billions have spilled into the water supply here. And the federal government, they're all arguing about who should clean it up, if anybody.
It's like when they recycle plastics, they take them down to those little beads. Like that's the output of recycled plastic, is like that's when it can be used to create more plastic. And so a big barge of this shit going to be made new plastic is now in the water here in Lake Pontchartrain, and nobody knows what they're going to do.
I know we're putting it up. I think it's in the Mississippi, but I'm not sure. Maybe it is like Montreal.
Then it's in the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Great.
Oh my God. I didn't even hear about that. State senator charged with injury to Confederate monument.
Oh,
wow,
shit.
Glad the government is out there taking care of business.
Did he behead that fucking statue? Cool.
Let's see here. Senate President pro tempore Louise Lucas speaks during debate on Senate floor at Capitol Hill, blah, blah, blah. So apparently she's in trouble. Virginia state senator has been charged with damaging a Confederate monument. Sorry, what did you say, Scotty?
I said, dude, the fact that grandma there went and took the head off a fucking Confederate statue, or at least helped, is pretty fucking funny to me.
I don't know.
How do you feel about the issue?
A Virginia state senator has been charged with damaging a Confederate monument in Portsmouth during protests that also led to a demonstrator being critically injured when a statue was torn down. Authorities said Monday. I think I saw that happen. That was really fucking gnarly. Senator Louise Lucas faces charges of conspiracy to commit a felony and injury to a monument in excess of $1,000. Portsmouth Police Chief Angela Green said during a news conference the protests occurred in June. Lucas is a longtime Democratic legislator and key power broker in this state Senate, joining the chamber in 1992. The charges were filed the same week. Virginia lawmakers are taking up dozens of criminal justice reforms during a special legislative session. The reaction from some of her fellow Democrats was swift. It's deeply troubling that on the verge of Virginia passing long overdue police reform, the first black woman to serve as our state pro tempore is suddenly facing highly unusual charges. Governor Ralph Northam, a Democrat, tweeted on Monday evening. The American Civil Liberties Union of Virginia called for the charges against Lucas and several others to be dropped. The ACLU said the charges constitute a stark overreach by police because they were not approved by the local prosecutor's office. Lucas did not respond to an email and phone call seeking her comment. Her attorney Don Scott told Wavy TV that Lucas will vigorously fight the case and be vindicated. I think I saw the injury that happened when they tore one of these statues down. I think someone got like basically their head bashed in by the fucking statue.
It was pretty gnarly. I didn't watch it, but I read about it. So
it was. I saw it. And it stuck with you. I mean, it was really bad. Don't fucking stand. If someone's pulling down a statue, don't stand in front of the fucking statue.
No shit.
Good idea.
Really bad. I'm sure that person, whatever life.
On the bottom. Meanwhile, Republican Party Virginia Chairman Rich Anderson said the senator should turn herself in. Of course.
I love being a black senator, and like this is basically like the equivalent of like a Jewish politician defacing a Nazi monument.
Yeah.
And getting in trouble for it. It's just ridiculous. There shouldn't be fucking Confederate monuments in this country. Just fucking tear this piece of shit down.
Yep.
Tear this fucking piece of shit the fuck down and let's move on.
However you feel about it, if it's this divisive to the country, which everyone has to live in, it's probably just shouldn't fucking be up. Put it in a fucking museum and then go jerk off at that museum if you really want to see that.
Yeah, like charge the racist dudes fucking, $50 a pop to go jerk off to the statues in some museum somewhere.
Yeah, there you go. Problem solved.
I mean, you may want to do that anyway because it looks like leaving them out in public gets them fucked up and sprayed up. So,
yeah,
right.
Like frame it like that way to the conservatives. Just be like, look, we need to protect these statues from rioters. So it'd be safer in a museum.
Win-win.
An Arkansas, this is the last story, by the way. An Arkansas farmer disguised himself as a woman to sneak into a cemetery and deface the grave of his longtime nemesis with animal carcasses, police say.
This is, this is this plan. I'm already in awe.
I love the fact that even in debt, like even though this dude that he hates is dead, he's still like not willing to let go of the feud.
Not only that, but he's willing to go to some pretty great fucking lengths to get this shit done too.
So Joseph Stroud, 78, was charged earlier this month with defacing objects of public respect after the family of Fred McKinney found dead animals on his grave multiple times between May and June.
Yo, man, he's fucking dead. You got to outlive me. You got to I'm like. This guy
already won. You won the fucking. You won
the grave. It's like, dude, he's fucking dead. There's nothing else you can do to him. He's fucking no longer here to have the fucking feud with. Like you've won that one.
It's almost kind of like romantic in a way, Like their hate is more pure than some people's love. For fuck's sake,
it's true.
Like he's visiting his grave and shit. Like their hate spans the time and space and death itself.
Yeah.
In a probable cause report seen by the Insider and first reported by KNWA, the police said Stroud disguised himself as a woman and visited McKinney's grave to drop off dead animal carcasses. Like, why the cross-dressing? That's what I don't get.
Because you're
herself, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, TJ. Because you nailed this. These two guys needed to fuck while this guy was still alive, and all of this tension would have just blown away.
Yeah.
And the anger is the only thing he has left. It's the only connection he has left to the man that he loved with a love that he could never express.
Wow. McKinney's granddaughter told the police that McKinney and Stroud were neighbors who never got along with each other. It's
shit, dude. Oh, shit, dude.
Stroud has denied any involvement, blah, 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 blah. So let's see. Just Stroud describes. I want to see, does it have any more pictures? No. Just this picture we get. Shannon said Joseph and Fred never got along with each other, and there was even a lawsuit between them where she thought Joseph had lost the probable cause. I don't really know. It doesn't really get too much into like what their beef was.
This was pea soup thick, butter knife cuttable sexual tension all the way through. And this dude dressing up like a woman to do this is just an explanation. It just further proves the point. It's like, they just needed to fuck while this guy was alive, and they died and they never got to cut that sexual tension.
And so let me just, everyone out there who has that enemy of theirs, give fucking a try.
Yeah, seriously. Everybody's got an enemy like that, or at least has had one in the past where if like you just fucked them, it would just complete like dude, chimps and fucking other primates other than us, they solve problems with that all the time. In fact, human beings solve problems with fucking all the time. You got to open your mind to this shit.
Broaden your horizons. Next time you fucking feel like opening your mouth in anger, open your mouth to take a dick or a vagina into it instead.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Approach your worst enemy and tell them you're DTF and see what happens. You might be surprised.
What's that, Scotty?
I was trying to, I thought I saw a video of this fucking story, but I guess I may have, it's some other time a dude dressed up as a woman and did some fucked up shit.
Oh, okay. Well,
Hey, it's not the only time. Surprised. I thought I saw a video just like this. Maybe I'm misremembering. Who knows?
Oh, well. Well, if there is one, I guess we'll fucking come
I'll try to find it if it does exist.
Yeah, Scotty will fucking locate it. Don't forget that, we do need a Photoshop of Pimp Monk and Clinton. What do we call them? Clint Monk. We do need a Photoshop of Clint Monk out there. Anybody who's got Photoshop skills, or even if you want to even use, if you're an artist, you want to actually draw out Clint Monk, we're willing to look at it. I don't know why Pimp Monk is becoming such a meme on our show, but I guess
I just went on Pimp Monk's show a couple days ago too.
There you go. So that's why we're rolling with it though. We're rolling with Clint Monk, and we're still not. We haven't given up on getting him on the Mississippi flag either. By the way,
Pimp Monk has an intro for his show that's better. It's better than our intro.
It's fucking pretty dope.
His new fucking show intro is crazy good.
What? Let me see it.
Have you not seen it yet?
No.
Oh my god, dude! I don't know how Pimp Monk got an intro that was so fucking dope.
I'll pull it up.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah, watch it, dude. Tell me it ain't dope. It's a badass intro.
Well, I'll tell you what, dude. We got a lot of irons in the fire, but that intro is probably when those irons have been fucking used. They've been used for their fucking purpose. A new intro shall rise.
Of course. There has to be one to succeed.
I guarantee you, it will fucking top whatever intro we have.
It better.
So kill your shit.
Yeah. You guys got to see this. If you can see it.
This is the opening shit, like when the stream is getting ready to start and stuff.
Yeah, this is his opening intro thing.
It's from 6 hours ago.
Oh, well, yeah, you got to skip forward because this is just the beginning. Okay, here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pimp Monk.
Yeah, it's a pretty good intro.
That's a fucking dude. That's a dope intro.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he fucking. I was not expecting that. I think it was smart how they got around animating Pit Monk a bunch. You know, just using his image. I think it was really cleverly done and edited. Yeah.
No, it's good. It's a bomb ass intro. I'm telling you, Pit Monk stepping his game up.
Fucking tier intro.
And whoever did the intro, great fucking job.
Yeah.
Top fucking tier, bitch. Let me tell you something. All right. Anyway, I know Paul hates my fucking New York accent, but all right, that's pretty much it, right?
That's it.
That's fucking it.
That's a show.
Sure? We good now?
I think so.
We're fucking good. Got that out of your system.
We fucking good now, eh?
We did it. Yeah. We made it through another fucking Wednesday.
All right, Wednesday show in the bank. See y'all later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Deep fat fried. Deep fat fried. Deep fat